information, but now we take it anytime we want in this game. My situation is entertainment intertwined with information. Alchemist soul, how we move the tassel and roll. It's amazing how we can turn something brass to gold. And we steady making hits. Architect with the prop in the scripts. It's logical that the product will flip. My boy Chef did the lineup. I'm fresh in the bitch. Carnivorous podcast and new is showing the list. DQ on the boat, so I'm rocking the ship. Squad the music gon' be dope and the artist legit. Hold my beard, concrete cord, then stepped in the door. See, that's my man and he reppin' for show. And true saviors a player with flavor. Lexicon Taylor, lines on point like a laser. We need that paper, we building the vault. Cause you niggas don't listen, y'all be waiting to talk. Lack accountability and try to make it our fault. But opposing us is trying to arm wrestle the hawk. You coming up short on your re-up, nigga we up. Really wouldn't want to be up. I kick my feet up, my beef is wagyu and my truck is all speakers. Bills is all blue and my blunt is all reefer. With possible deniability, that boy eater. High quality whack juice by the liter. They like to call us ops, we got Oppenheimer features. That's the bomb out on the island just to teach you.
What's up out there, y'all? How y'all making out tonight, man? I'm glad y'all hung in there for me for a couple minutes. Had to get some special effects going on the show. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to have a fun one tonight, man. This one's highly anticipated for me. I know I'm excited about it. I feel like, you know, I had a good little conversation the other day on Smash's channel. I had a lot of fun, right? You know, I think that there are times where, you know, that conversation can be a little fun. And then, you know, I also know that there's an entirely different layer to the conversation that we don't even really get to touch on, right? And it's really unfortunate because, you know, I'm the one on the outside of the argument, right? Making the case that I'm not an Afrocentric, making the case that I'm not a I don't think that the Egyptians are black, right? And I'm talking to people who I just know for a fact, like, have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. And, you know, sometimes it could be fun. And then sometimes you feel like this. All right?
Crazy, deranged.
Sometimes you find yourself in a you know, in like a, I don't even know what in the world to call it, man. It's like you in a Afrocentric Twilight Zone kind of thing. You know, you can't even make out what's really going on or what the argument's supposed to be about. When I shouldn't be able to tell you what your argument should be about, right? I mean, you know, I guess at the end of the day, you're well within your right to try to put together your own argument. But, you know, as you know, when you claim to be a particular thing, right, I expect you to have some working knowledge of what that thing is. You know, if you claiming to be Afrocentric, I think that you should be well aware of what the Afrocentric argument is on the things that you're talking about, right? You should be more familiar with it than I am, far more interested in it than I am. You know, so I mean, like I did some research today where I was looking through, right, and just in a matter of, I guess about the last 2-3 hours here, I've been a little bit busy today. I didn't get to do as much prep work as I would have liked to do, but good thing I was kind of already on to it, from the night before. But man, my lighting is terrible in this room. Not much I can do about it. But anyway, so man, it's so interesting that the Afrocentrics on YouTube, specifically the ones on YouTube, are horrible Afrocentrics, right? Like just terrible, uninformed Afrocentrics, don't even understand what Afrocentrism is saying about what you're doing, have no idea how to take any of these old ideas and advance them. And I know that's got to be what it's all about, right? It's got to be, because everybody's always talking about standing on the shoulders of someone, and we just hear two different things. When you hear, when y'all hear Dr. Ben, y'all see a dark-skinned man there with a cape on, right? It's like ringing the echo in your head. It's like, superheroes. You know what I'm saying? In my head, I'm thinking like scammers. And it's crazy to me, right? So when we had these conversations, it's like I'm trying to kind of like delicately describe how I come across these conclusions, because I know that you're actually in your feelings about these things, right? Because behind it all, you really think that there's actually something to it. You think that your liberation is actually tied to if you can prove Dr. Ben correct or not. And I think that that's horrible, man. Right? I think that is like a part of the biggest shame. And I put a crazy title up here for y'all on purpose. And I want y'all to actually come up here and try to debate me on it. But I know it ain't gonna work. I can give you one quick one right now. Everybody know about the slave trade, and nobody knows about Black Egypt. I mean, as if we really need another reason to be mad at white people. As if we need to find another front to have to fight on other than social equality. Right? Some kind of way, if we defeat them in academia, maybe we'll get some trickle down in the social equality. Maybe a new civil rights reform bill will come out of us making the Egyptians Black. I highly doubt it. So, that's where I made a comment to one of my business partners earlier today. I'm gonna just leave his name out of it. I'm sure he preferred that way. But he asked me, how can I be able to make this kind of a statement? And I know it's wild, and I don't care, right? Because I know exactly what I mean by it, and I'm gonna, let other people interpret it the way they want to. I would say, if we were sitting here having conversations about how we got out of slavery, right? I think that we would very quickly arrive at a political and social conversation. Right, as we sit up here and kick around ideas about how the Egyptians were Black or not, I think that the longer we have that conversation, we get further and further away from social implications and how we can actually start to get stuff done. Right, so sitting around talking about Black Egypt is absolutely going to be way worse than sitting around talking about slavery. Absolutely, not even close. Nowhere near as productive. How do I do this on my screen? I'm trying to put this thing back up here. Okay, let me just start my presentation. All right. Let's start going into what the information says yet again. Yet again, y'all wrong about y'all heroes. Don't even know what they say. Have no idea what they're talking about. No idea why they say what they say, where they're coming from. You just champion rhetoric. And you call it information because we're talking to other uninformed people and they think it's actually information. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy, right? Now, shout out to Mr. Flag from the other day because he actually kind of put me on this trail. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Had to put my phone on silent right quick. So yeah, shout out to Mr. Flag. He put me on this trail just the other day. I'm gonna share it over here on Try Media too. And by the way, I'm streaming on both of our channels here. I'm on Try Media and I'm on the Carnivorous Podcast. So if you're not subscribed to either one of them, man, go ahead, put that like in there. Subscribe to the other channel. We're doing our thing. Internal server error. So anyway, Molefe Asante is actually a key player in Afrocentrism. Spelling his name. So let's see what he has to say about this Egypt conversation. Y'all like worshiping y'all heroes? Let's at least know what they say, right? And by the way, man, shout out to Hit for making some good Chat GPT videos and showing you how you can actually use it. By the way, I'm sitting up here on Google Scholar, and for those who don't know, you get access to like places like JSTOR and Google Scholar. Instead of it just searching through maybe just a Google search, it'll actually go through scholarly research papers, and then it'll use those as sources rather than just a plain old Google search. But here we go, right? Molefe Kidi Asante. I'm not sure how you would say his middle name, but he is a leading proponent of Afrocentrism and has emphasized the centrality of ancient Egypt, or Kemet, is a key aspect of African civilization and identity. Rather than critiquing the idea of Black Egypt, Asante has historically argued that the recognition of Egypt as an African civilization has critiqued Eurocentric and racist distortion of Egypt history that attempt to separate ancient Egypt from the rest of Africa. Some key points Asante makes regarding Black Egypt. African identity of Egypt. Asante challenges the historical narrative that denies Egypt's African roots. He argues that Egypt is an African civilization and should be viewed as integral to the African historical experience, refuting attempts to whitewash. Okay, I actually must have mistyped something here. I don't think any of us will have any disagreements with Egypt being an African rooted civilization. Let's get to something more specific. I'm going to say, quote, Molefe, his name? Asante, can't type over there. Egyptcentrism. A little bit more searching it has to do, so you kind of gotta let it do its thing on this one. This isn't the classic Chat GPT. That Scholar Chat GPT says it's going through 200 million sources. Any of y'all using 200 million sources currently? Or do I got y'all beat with one click? I'm gonna kick it up again. Starting action. It should still be doing it here. Just so you can actually see what I'm talking about. You see it right here. It says enhances your research by 200 million plus sources. And built-in critical reading skills, access Google Scholar, PubMed, JSTOR, Arvix, and more effortlessly. Just typing in your prompt right there get you through 200 million sources. Okay. So while this is loading up, man, let me try to remind y'all, what kind of inspired me to even do this. So I'm sitting there and I'm wondering to myself, right? I feel like I have to deal with this constantly. I'm wondering to myself, like, why don't the people I'm talking to know this? I feel like the people who I'm talking to should be able to tell me what are the is because they're refusing to read, right? Is it because they're like is it because they just don't give a damn about what the actual information is? Because that's when it all starts getting dangerous. once you start throwing out the scientific rigor, there's only one thing that could happen, bro. What's going on? Mark, you supposed to be helping me out right here, bro. You letting me down. You ain't throwing off the punchline and everything, man. Only thing that can happen is you have to divulge into something totally ridiculous at that point, right? You do become crazy and deranged, right? If you are left to your own devices, that's how you start getting these very unorganized and loose ideas about how to get things done, right? This is how you start. I'm having all kind of difficulties, man. I'm low key thinking about pulling this down and just starting it back up. I'm not sure why my connection keeps dropping me all the way out of here. I don't know. I really can't call it, man. Let me see if some of my stuff is working before I even do anything else.
Deranged.
That's what I got lined up for the archers. And now it's applying to my goddamn internet. That's tripping me out right now. So anyway, right? So back to what I was saying. I appreciate y'all hanging in there, man. It's been a little rough couple minutes with the internet, man. Technical difficulties. But I'm glad y'all hanging in there, man. I think this is an important topic. I think this is one we actually really need to have. We really need to take a deeper dive into actually, what some of the Afrocentrics are actually saying about this. And to my surprise, right? I'm actually surprised that you can find plenty of them that have actually moved on from this conversation. Right? You can find plenty of them who've actually straight up abandoned, do we need the Egyptians to be black? As a matter of fact, they'll go as far as to have a whole new term to introduce called Egyptcentrism, not just Afrocentrism, but they will take Egyptcentrism, right, and go as far as to say that if you're being Egypt-centric, then that means that you're not giving enough credence to other parts of Africa, right? And a simple question should be, why is that? We haven't even got to the point of we're not from East Africa yet. I mean, yeah, we're not from East Africa, but they're saying, I mean, if you're going to be Afrocentric, then you need to be celebrating all the contributions that Africans have made to civilization, not just ancient Egypt. And I want to be able to pull this up without actually crashing my stream here too. I'm gonna give it one more shot, see what I can do. Because I done got to the point where I got sources on y'all now. And I'm trying to show off. All right. Going back in there. All right. Molefe Asante's about Egyptcentrism. Here we go. Cooking now. Molefe Kete Asante is a leading figure in Afrocentric thought, has critiqued Egyptcentrism as a part of his broader work on Afrocentrism. He argues that focusing exclusively on Egypt in discussion of African history or civilization is a limitation, as it overlooks the contributions of other African societies and cultures. That's exactly what I just said. I was reading this earlier. A notable quote from Asante on this topic can be paraphrased as follows: "To speak of Egypt alone is to deny African essence that flows through the entirety of the continent." In this context, Asante emphasizes that while Egypt is significant, it should not overshadow the rich, diverse history of Africa as a whole. His broader work advocates for an Afrocentric approach which values all African cultures and their contributions to civilization, to human civilization. If you need specific citations or a more depth exploration of his work, I can assist you in finding that. ChatGPT, I appreciate it, bro. But again, this is a ChatGPT Scholar, man. We done stepped it up a notch. I don't know. I think I paid like I'm not sure what it is, but this is the super version where you get all the good stuff and it's a little faster, so on and so forth, man. But I did that because I like messing with ChatGPT. I think it's a good tool when used correctly. So let's take a little bit more in there, right? Let's see if Molefe Asante is the only person that thinks Egyptcentrism is not necessarily a great representation of Afrocentrism. Let's see. Ten Afrocentrics that critique Egyptism. Spell it wrong? No P. There we go. These are Afrocentrics now. They got Sheck up there. Says while Diop championed the centrality of Egypt in African history, he also recognized the importance of a broader African civilization and discouraged isolating Egypt from the rest of Africa. So kind of Diop wasn't feeling that either, huh? That's definitely one of y'all superheroes right there. Theophilo Benga, student of Diop. Benga has critiqued and emphasized on Egypt to the exclusion of other African civilization and has argued for a more balanced view of Africa. Dang. Not John Henry Clark. John Henry Clark argued that Pan-African approach to history, which includes Egypt, but also emphasizes the interconnectedness of all African societies. Dang. So while we sit up here and night after night, why are we sitting here talking about Egypt with Afrocentrics? It's amazing. Like even the pseudo ones, Runoko Rashidi right here. Runoko Rashidi has pointed out that while Egypt is important, Africa's history and contributions are far broader, and limited the focus to Egypt distorts the broader historical narrative. Dang. You know what? That's actually not that crazy, right? I'm actually not surprised that our pseudos, or more pseudos than Afrocentric scholar pseudos, That don't surprise me a little bit, honestly. I think that was like crazy to even have to say all of that, but it's true. Our pseudos don't even compare. to that. They're just a new breed of pseudo. It's something crazy going on out there. What else we got? Let me see this. Cause I went and made this background, man. I want to see it. Dang. It's all good. Man, I could put it though. I think it's good for the bill, man. Cause I actually found a real picture of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I found the real deal. That's y'all right there, man. See if I can blow this bad boy up for y'all. This is y'all right here, man. Now I don't feel like I don't feel right showing all of our good stuff. I'm glad I didn't share it. Yeah, I was gonna show y'all our Canva page, but I ain't doing all that. So here you go. You got in your face evidence of the actual Afrocentric scholars not agreeing, right, that we should sit here and overemphasize Egypt. That we should sit up here and play like we the archers and play like we fighting scientific racism from our living room on YouTube. That they saying don't do that. They saying look at all of Africa and enjoy all of Africa, right? Do I have to go back as far as to tell you is to let ChatGPT tell you why the Afrocentrics thought it was important to reclaim Africa? Y'all don't believe nothing I say anyway, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it as I'm typing it. But it's a political argument. Early Afrocentric scholars say they needed to reclaim Egypt. It's a political argument down to its core, right? If we sit up here and attempt to have some accuracy argument, we're missing the whole picture. And not only are we missing the whole picture, but we're stepping outside of reality. These people were doing this in the 50s and the 60s where they weren't participating in politics, where they didn't have no real voice to be able to get that off. So they're trying to shroud their politics in their history. Early Afrocentric scholars argued that they needed to reclaim Egypt as a part of African history for several key reasons, rooted in correcting the historical distortions, affirming African contributions to global civilization, and fostering cultural pride and identity among people of African descent. Here are some central motivations. I'm not going to read all of this. That's going to be too boring. But I'll just read exactly what the headline is, and then I'll just move on. Correcting historical distortions and Eurocentrism. That's number one. Restoring African contributions to the world civilization. Now, them first two, I can get with them first two. I don't think that's so crazy right there, right? I think that's a noble fight to be in the battle with Eurocentrics, claiming that Africans gave no contribution to the world civilization other than being slaves. That's super wild. Super wild. Now I'm not gonna, you shouldn't go as far as George G. and James did with his Stolen Legacy book and try to steal another people's culture in order to do that, but we ain't talking about that right now, right? Reaffirming African identity and cultural pride. That's where y'all start going crazy, right? That's the one right there where y'all start foaming up at the mouth, right? When y'all hear that cultural pride and that continuity, this what happens.
Crazy, deranged.
That's real deal. That's actually what happened to y'all. Every single time. You get a whiff of that.
I'm here to play around with y'all. God damn.
You get a whiff of that cultural continuity, and you swear to God, you can reconnect with Africa. You finna start. You finna start eating the fufu again with your hand, and you drinking out the river. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why. That's what exactly what I mean when I say y'all start foaming up at the mouth. You just start acting crazy. Fighting psychological and cultural oppression. Cultural oppression? Sound like they're talking about white supremacy right there. Establishing historical continuity for African and diaspora. Pipe dream, pipe dream, pipe dream. Countering the colonial narrative of African inferiority. Yeah, they got to deal with that. I'm cool with that. Go ahead and fight that all you want to. Hell, lie if you have to. Go ahead and fight that. I'm down with it. Early Afrocentric scholars sought to reclaim Egypt not only as a historical correction, but as a vital component of restoring African dignity, identity, and pride by emphasizing Egypt's African roots. They claim to overturn centuries of Eurocentric distortion and create a stronger, more empowered sense of African heritage for people on the continent and of the diaspora. Why Egypt, though? They do Egypt like that. When one of their leaders, a bunch of their leaders, actually said, let's not do that. It's just the wild, crazy enthusiasts who do that. I think that the real, Afrocentric activists, I think they're out there being active, man. I don't think they're trying to kill the white man with their bow and arrow, man. Is it gonna let me put the background to the front? It really won't let me do it. Can I put it up here? I'm gonna put it up here. Couple minutes, man. I'm gonna see if I can get somebody on stage, let them defend their argument. I really didn't intend for this one to be too long. Chat, see what y'all up in there talking about. Take it from there. Yeah, Chef, come keep the convo going. What'd you say, Brass? Let me swap this up, man. Because I went and made this actually just for this show. And I'd be damned if I don't have it out there. Yeah, there we go. Brass, can you hear me talking? If you talking, you on mute.
Yo.
There we go. Yeah, what's up, bro?
Man, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? What is this picture? What are you doing? What you on right now? Have you sorted this out yet? Whatever you got going on?
I mean, the technical difficulties kind of bother me. Man, I done kind of had a super long day.
Yeah, I know. I could tell.
I wanted to. Yeah. I've had a pretty long day. You know what I'm saying? I tried to be able to fit this in And then I've been, crazy part is I've been on ChatGPT for like the last 3-4 hours, and now that I'm up here, it's like, my brain. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe
but
it.
no. But what I'm saying, I get it. But what I'm saying is, all right. So what is it? What are you specifically with all the pictures, the this and the that? And by the way, bro, that picture. Oh man, you bugging out. But anyway, listen. It's your show.
You like it?
No, I don't. It's your show. You can do what you want to do. You grow. I get it. What is the point of this? What are you doing? What is your main goal? Because you're about to invite people up here. So what is your main goal? What are you trying to get across? And Chef is up here too. So what are you trying to get across? Go ahead, bro. I said I was not.
I actually was able to state that earlier before before the technical difficulties. I wonder if everybody got that. So to make it really simple, I think that we would actually run into some very productive conversations if we sat around and we talked more about slavery, right? But the fact that we sit around and talk about Egypt and we shroud it in this and our shrouded reason for it, right, is trying to reclaim our identity, for trying to fight for liberation, right? I'm saying that as we sit there and do that, we actually get further and further and further away from our liberation talks and actually how we can actually successfully, I'm not going to say successfully, but realistically talk about how we can come across some solutions while having the conversations.
Okay. Do me a favor. Just I know you're proud of the picture, bro. But can we please? I can't even focus with that picture.
You don't like the picture, dog?
No, I don't. No, I honestly don't. Can you please just change? Listen,
I think it's a good picture, man.
It's a great, but you showed it. So let's do something else. What's up, Corey? Let's do something else because I don't even think I can't really understand exactly what your issue necessarily is. Chef playing fight night. Corey about to come in here. It's gonna get real different. Just whatever that. Just make a regular.
I mean, I'm just having fun, man.
I know, bro, but you having fun.
I'm just having some fun, bro.
I get you, bro. I get you.
Really? Am I still tripping? Am I still underestimating how serious people take Egypt, dog?
Yes.
Am I really, dog? I thought for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
My bad.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Just how do you change this background, bro?
No, you talking about this background?
People take Egypt very, very seriously.
Yes, yes, they can. I'm looking at it right now. Can you change this background, please?
You know what kind of people take Egypt very, very serious?
Crazy, deranged.
Man, my technical difficulties, bro. Killing my punchlines, dog. People who are crazy and deranged. Supposed to have Martin. I'm supposed to have Martin on point right there, bro.
Right. Oh yeah, you got to do a test stream, test Zoom.
What's up, Corey?
What up, man? I do like the direction. I do like the direction that you're aiming for, Brother Logic. It's some interesting things there that you brought up. Do you think I think it was some things that you said in the Discord that kind of made me interested in this conversation. But so when you say you underestimated or you believe you underestimate how serious people take Black Egypt or Afrocentrism or what have you, when you say that, do you think it's a misunderstanding of how you're approaching the conversation, or is it the way that the people that are having a conversation kind of approach and have the conversation basically?
So the part that the part that I feel like I wish we could all focus on a little bit more is that the conversation is actually shrouded in Black empowerment, right? And
Mhm.
it's not even necessarily shrouded in Black empowerment by the people who are having the conversation. It's shrouded in Black empowerment by the people who started the conversation, right? When we're talking about the real Afrocentrics are the people who shrouded it in Black empowerment. So when we're talking about other people who know, even less about, Afrocentrism than they do about Egypt, then I think we get a dangerous combination of people, just kind of overemphasizing rhetoric that they're really not that familiar with, right? And they get a couple talking points and rock with it, right? And that's how you. And I'm saying that that's going to foster a whole bunch of more bad ideas, right? It's because as we sit here talking about bad ideas, we have people in 2024, hanging on to a notion that has been dismissed 50 years ago, right? If that's not a bad idea, I don't know what it is. It's almost like you're trying to like invent something that was already invented 50 years ago and you're trying to figure out why you can't like make it work. Because I mean, first of all, it's already out there. It's been out there for 50 years and it just hasn't done what you wanted to do in 50 years. So I think that was a lengthy answer to your question, but I think that it's beyond redundant, and I think it's kind of, man, I think it's a little silly at this point, right? That's why I got the background picture being something silly, right?
Right, right.
If I told you that there was a dude at his house fighting white supremacy while he was on YouTube on his couch in the living room, that don't sound silly to you?
Sounds pretty silly. So basically, you're saying it's the. Let me attempt to decipher what how the way you basically what you're saying is it's the people that are having the conversation, which cause you to miscalculate the gravity of Afrocentrism or Black Egypt, right? It's the
Right.
people that's having it. So you explain like a guy sitting at home in his living room, claiming to be getting at the white man or reclaiming our rightful history, right? Uh, that makes you approach it in a more lackadaisical way rather than a serious way, right? When you see silly shit like that, it make you want to be silly too.
It does make me want to be silly. Absolutely.
Right. I totally understand that. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear on where you was at with that. I definitely understand that. I think a lot of because in this community, I think that if we were to sit here and explain how silly the Hebrew Israelites were, right? I think a lot of the audience who may hear this and may not be able to stomach the way you did that and you presented that picture, right? I think a lot of the audience will find that even sillier. As a matter of fact, they'd ridicule and snicker and the likes at the Hebrew Israelites. But when it comes to Egypt, right, and looking at the world from an African's perspective, right, when it comes to things like that, that ain't as silly as a Hebrew Israelite standing outside with spikes on his arms and his costume and whatever, right?
I mean, yeah, absolutely, man. Truth be told, I'm actually like unbelievably tired. I got home from the gym yesterday around 7 o'clock. I tried to take a nap and I wound up going to sleep. So I woke up about 1 this morning, couldn't get back to sleep, and I've been I've been running around like pretty much ever since, right? And today I read about, an hour and some change of that Mary Lefkowitz book, and then after that, I kind of got a little bit busy again for a minute, and then for about the last 2 or 3 hours, I've literally just been searching up these topics on ChatGPT. So I'm definitely like pretty much exhausted. I'm barely hanging in there, but that probably needed some clarity as far as like what I was saying, because yes, it does make it difficult for me to have the conversation, right? I've always wanted to help move these conversations into a place of, how can we start talking about Black power in some constructive manner, right? In some realistic context. And as long as we sit up here and kicking around Black Egypt, I just don't see how we'll ever truly get on topics that have anything to do with empowerment.
Right.
And that's like the biggest problem, right? If we were sitting up here talking about the atrocities of slavery and how we got out of slavery, for example, right, it wouldn't be long before we start running into civil rights, before we start running into litigation, legislature, right, and all these other productive realms of how to solve problems. But the fact that we're convinced that we can challenge academia from our living room, right? It's stupid.
Yeah. And I so and definitely, because I've been told, I think I get a lot of kind of flack because of the way I kind of jokingly approach the conversation. It's funny to me. The conversation is pretty, all in all. I mean, whatever aspect of it is funny. Now, sometimes, I'll get a little irritated by some of the conversation, but from a foundational point, to me, it's pretty much a joke. I'm sorry to say that, but it is. It's a joke. I mean, because just like I said, I mean, nobody would have a problem with me saying that about a group of Hebrew Israelites. You know what I mean? No one that's listening to me now that heard me say that wouldn't have a problem with me saying, yeah, that's, them Hebrew Israelites, that's a joke, that's silly. None of them would have a problem with that. And I don't see how they don't see the similarities between them and the Hebrew Israelites. But I wanted to ask, if you kind of have something, or if you could jog your memory a bit, what in your reading of Mary Lethbridge, is there any highlights so far? I know you haven't finished, or I'm assuming you haven't finished.
One of my favorite quotes so far, right, is Mary Lefkowitz summarized the Afrocentrics as a rehearsal, right? And I thought that was very clever and accurate at the same time, right? Because let's take this Egypt conversation, right? Now you know what a rehearsal is versus the real thing, right? Rehearsal is basically like practice, right?
Right.
So if we are sitting up here rehearsing the 1974, council meeting in Cairo, right? And they get to take turns being Sheikh Anta Diop, trying to present their argument, right? As if this actually has not already been taken out of academia, right? We're sitting up here trying to, fight scientific racism the same way that they did it 50 years ago, right? So they would like to try to say, ask me if I believe scientific racism exists, that they got rid of it completely, blah, blah, blah. And that's going to all be a distraction, right? Because you're sitting up here talking about one particular subject, Egypt, that they actually have taken out of, scientific racism. They've crossed that bridge after World War II already. So that's one of the ones that really stuck out to me. I think I done got all the way past where she's critiquing Diop. I forget who the scholar is she's talking about now, but I was I planned on basically like getting through it a good 2 times before Sunday. So tomorrow when I wake up, I'll just get back into it, and by the time we do it on Sunday, I should be ready.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna freshen up. It's been a little while. I did read a little bit of the chapter 6 and the conclusion a couple of days ago. I had on my ebook, I got some things highlighted, so I was flicking through and I was looking at some of the things that I had highlighted in there. And yeah, I do got to freshen up on that. But I heard you yesterday on Smash's show. You and I guess before you actually got into reading, I think you kind of read a small excerpt out of Not Out of Africa, right? And she was asking a question. I heard you ask that question on Smash's channel yesterday. Did you think you got any kind of clarity or somewhat of an answer there, or
no? I feel like he was being evasive. He kind of gave me an answer, but he didn't specifically answer it. Maybe the way I would have wanted to. I put it to you like that, right? He didn't. So the question that I asked him was, in private conversations with other high-ranking Afrocentrics, do you guys have conversations about how do you balance empowering, giving a message about empowerment with the accuracy of your information, right? And that's actually a super strong question. Because if
it actually is, it really is,
really is.
And are you sure that I'm not totally sure? Two things, because it was a lot of background noise. You know what I mean? I guess not noise, but it was a number of people on the panel. I'm not totally sure the other panelists really understood the question. I thought Smash became somewhat combative behind the question, and then a number of them seemed very confused at the question you asked. So yeah, I don't know. Did you get the same thing, or was I on my own there? Did you feel like that?
No, it was the only person that did answer it was Mr. Flag. I'm gonna call him Mr. Flag. I don't for some reason, I don't know him as like my brother Flag, but it just seems a little too formal. I don't want to feel like I'm indoctrinated when I call him brother Flag. So I can call him Mr. Flag and still give him his respect. You know what I'm saying? We can be cordial.
Community that made you squeamish a bit. Huh?
Yeah, it has, and it kind of brother Corey. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry about that. I am sorry about that.
You don't gotta apologize.
You're reluctant friends to call a brother, because see, what y'all do in this community, you bring reluctance amongst my brother Logic to refer to a brother as a brother. That's pretty harsh there. But I feel you. Am I there yet? Probably not quite, but I do feel you, Logic. But go ahead.
The first time
I interrupted you.
Yeah, he didn't. I feel like he didn't answer me He didn't give me what I was looking for. He actually said yes though. So he said yes, and then he said something about, yeah, we have these councils and then we have these private meetings where we do vet the information for accuracy. And that was one way that he could answer the question. Right. But the I think that the really honest way to answer the question, and I'm gonna say it right here, because I feel like I know the answer. And he didn't have to say it, but I wanted to hear him answer the question. The real answer is, how can you balance empowerment with accuracy if your agenda is actually empowerment, right? If you have an agenda behind the information, then you are never going to follow the facts. You're going to manipulate the facts to serve your agenda, right? And that is going to happen every single time. It's not possible to come into it with a bias, come into it with a goal, and be able to just simply read the data word for word. You have to try to extract some narrative out of the data, which is going to cause you to either omit some facts, maybe distort some facts. Something's going to happen in there because you've got this motive that you're trying to push, right? Which is what it really boils down to, and that's why her question is actually it's kind of brilliant. It's simple but brilliant, right? The first time I actually heard you, the first time I heard you say that she was like one of your heroes, I kind of thought you was trolling, and then I heard how she was giving them boys that work in that book, and I was like, nah, she tearing them up bad, dog. She killing them. You're killing them. I can't even talk.
Well, and correct me if I'm going to branch too far here, but it sounds like you just accused those guys or the conscious community or the Egyptomaniac, whichever group you want to call them, right? Sounds like you just accused them of basically biblical archaeology there, instead of yeah. And again, I believe in that. I would, in the same book, rather. I don't know if it's the same chapter or not, but Mary Lethwich goes on to talk about how education should be a quest, rather than some set journey. You know what I mean? A quest, when you just think of a video game, right? You get this new video game, you don't know what's around that corner. You know what I mean? You don't know these secret steps to solve this Easter egg, right? The whole thing is the foundation of it is to go into it not knowing, right? And then you follow the path that the evidence lays down for you, right? That's what I think of when I think of a quest. I think of some in the conscious community is education or accuracy, as you say, the truth, as the conscious community says, right? I don't think they're taking the quest approach to it, as Mary Lethwich says in her book. So,
what's up, Isonic, man? I see you in here. But yeah, and just to kind of close that out, right? She also one of the interesting things that she was saying, she was talking about Dr. Ben, and she was actually kind of exposing what the student experience would have been like listening to one of these Afrocentrics as a college professor, right? And she's basically iterating that how basically what you're doing is you're cheating this student out of a good education. You know what I'm saying? Because you all you're really doing is indoctrinating them, right? And only for them to later have to find out that they can't support any of these claims that you're giving them, right? But you give them all this rhetoric, and you put a battery in their back, and you want to paint people like Mary Lefkowitz as arrogant Eurocentrics, right? Because they ask you to have scholarly rigor behind your claims, and whole time all she's really trying to do is hold to some scholastic standard, right? Some academic standard where she can, at the very least, substantiate her claims with evidence. Whereas you shooting from the hip, and again, you're trying to paint a narrative, and a lot of that stuff is stuff that you can't substantiate, right? We can't substantiate Black Socrates. You can't find you can't find evidence of his parents or grandparents being darker colored or anybody speaking about that anywhere in history. So stuff
Now,
like that, I think is interesting.
To kind of jog on here a bit, do you feel like and I was wondering, especially after the conversation with the way you had the conversation with Smash and the Magi Archers, right? Do you feel like you're pretty much in the middle of the Egypt argument now? Have you pulled yourself? Do you find yourself in the middle of a fight that maybe a few months ago you may not have even been as interested to have the conversation? I guess you've always kind of been interested to have the conversation, but I don't know that you've been interested in being in the middle of the fight. So that's a kind of a two-part question. Do you find yourself in the middle of the fight? And now that you are, where are you at with it? You know what I mean? But go ahead.
I'm actually, the way I see myself in that whole conversation, I really see myself as really trying to say, hold up. I think that there is something more here that we should be paying attention to, right? I think that there are some really real lessons that we might be able to learn from ancient Egypt and actually apply them to our situation here in America. But the one thing that we can't get any use out of is making them Black, right? That's where I kind of really try to find myself. And then as I try to have the conversation, I get pulled into these well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, what about this? And then that's the part about the conversation I really don't like. I don't like that I'm having a conversation that I'm semi-interested in at best, and I'm having to read stuff that you read, and I got to reread it because you misread it and explain it to you when you've been reading it for over a year. Like, that's the part that I really don't too much care for. But so, I've told you my strategy before. I'm actually trying my best with all the strategies I can think of is to actually push the conversation into some progressive, actual Black power stuff, right? And there's no power in making the people Black, and people can't explain it to me. And then when I ask them to, they say, "Oh, it's just my hobby. My hobby is making the Egyptians Black."
I want to say peace for a second.
Peace to y'all. Hey, Chef, real quick before you go, Isaiah. Hey, Chef, man, I've been home since 5 o'clock, maybe just a little bit later than 5. Bro, I finally got everything put together and hooked up, but I have not pushed power on one thing yet, and I'm not doing it tonight. I just wanted to put that, shot that to you, brother. In the morning, I'm getting up early, though. In the morning, I'm going to push power on this shit, bro, and I'm going to figure this shit out. You know what I mean? So hopefully you in my corner with me, brother, to guide me through this. But go ahead, Isonic. Let me hear what you. How you doing, brother? How you doing, by the way?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm reluctant to call you brother.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Tell me why.
Because now that I'm hanging with Logic and his reluctance has rubbed off on me. Nah, but I'm just bullshitting with you. How you doing there, brother? How you doing there, brother? I saw it.
I'm good, bro.
Go ahead, brother. Let's hear what you're saying.
We can always disagree. As long as we respect each other, we can call each other brothers. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Um,
For sure.
And I'll start off with this. Corey, when you stream, you use an OBS, right? So check out your
I'm not
output.
gonna be doing that no more though. That was my last OBS stream. I'm doing Ecamm Live.
All right. Well, I'm talking about your video games. When you stream a video game, you're
Right.
using. Are you gonna use something else now than other than OBS?
I'm gonna start, but I was. So go ahead. Go ahead and share what you was gonna say though about it.
I was just gonna say, check out your output, how much your bit rate is. Reducing that will help make things run smoothly. Because when I tried to check it out, it was kind of choppy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only feedback I wanted to give.
Oh yeah, and that's good feedback. That's actually great feedback too. I kind of figured that out. But yeah, I threw that all in the trash. I started all over again. So I built my thing from the ground up, basically. I mean, everything except for my console. I pretty much built it from the ground up again. So hopefully, this is a little more intuitive. I'll be working with, the Mac Mini. So I'm pretty good with an iPad. I'm gonna guess the Mac Mini is very, very similar. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I know how to share something with an iPad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing what it looks like now.
I can share a YouTube video with an iPad, so I should be a bad motherfucker on a Mac Mini, right?
Yeah, that would take less resources. I was implying more of the video games when you're streaming video games.
Yeah. No, I did figure that out though. The bit rate, yep. Because they said so. I ran a diagnostics, iSonic, right, and it said with my internet that I could run 10,000 bits, right? So, but the problem was it was my computer. You know what I mean? So I had a HP laptop. I don't think it had. I don't know what quad is, right? But it was not running quad. I needed quad.
It wasn't powerful enough. I got you.
Absolutely. There you go. Yeah. And I think I burnt it. First of all, I burnt like I think I paid like $80 for that damn HDMI splitter. And then I had to go buy that. I had to buy that twice. But I think I burnt the motherboard in that thing too. So I haven't. That was my wife's computer, right? That was my wife's computer. I have not told her that yet. So, but
better replace it now.
She used a different one, but she did her schoolwork on that one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think she gonna end up trying to go back to school. So I might end up having to sneak and buy her another laptop or something. I don't know, man.
I got you.
If it can be fucked up, believe me, I will do it. I will do it, baby.
Well,
but
Egypt stuff.
That was pretty much all the questions I had, Logic. I'm looking forward to Sunday. I really want to get into that show Sunday. I see Numi and Muhammad in the building. He let that Italian dude, that Levi. He let a Mediterranean. he let a Mediterranean bash him up there. I seen.
Let me touch on the Egypt stuff for a sec.
Go ahead there, iSonic. I'm gonna mute out.
I will say I disagree with both sides. I think the Black Egypt group, they kind of disrespect North Africa, and they don't see them as Africans. They don't want to see the diversity of Africa. They don't want to study the actual history of Africa and where they came from.
I think due diligence in the back, though. Sorry, I
got you.
Is he?
But I think you got people in the back, Logic.
Okay, my bad, dude.
Peace, appreciate it.
Let me just finish up on this, but I'm going to say that the Blackology group kind of disrespects the whole of Africa and North Africa. They don't see the diversity. They don't see the history. The fact that from Paleolithic to Epo-Paleolithic, Egypt 30,000 years ago, the same people who are there are descendants of those people, from the Halfan culture to Khatan culture. And Gozi does try to share this with you guys, but nobody will want to research this information at the end of the day. And then you have the other side that wants to kind of imply that the ancient Egyptians are invaders from the Levant and other regions, which is kind of disrespectful at the same level. If you look at the genetics and the history, the paternal line is African. It's African males who intermarried with women from the Levant for a long, long time that led to their genetics being the way it is today. That's why you have people like Pan-African James coming in and saying, look, they have European DNA. No, they have the genetics that would be correspondent to the region they live in. So I do think both sides are kind of disrespectful. And I think one side needs to respect that they're actually African and they are related to their Levant family, and also the fact that some of them are related to the Sudanese, modern Sudanese people, especially the ones that are closest to them in genetics and culture. They do speak an Afro-Asiatic language. They speak the Afro part. The Asiatic part would be the Semitic version that's in the Levant and like the Yemen region. And the Blackology group, Africa is a continent. It's not a country. It's time to kind of look at your genetics, your history, and see where you come from, rather than trying to disqualify people who are not related to you and remove them from the continent, which makes them react and kind of say, we're not African. So they're having a reaction to this modern day saying we're not African. The Africans are those black people that are trying to remove us from the continent. So that's my piece.
That is peace. I agree with you. I have went back and forth on those same points. I think where stuff gets murky is when you interject genetics into it and then look at somebody that's 80%, sub-Saharan or 80% African genetics versus 20% something else or vice versa. And then try to take that person's Africanness away from them. You know what I mean? I think we get hung up on that too much. I understand both sides on what they saying because the argument is because this is the principle of it, right? The ancestors were arguing, or not arguing, but fighting for the blackness of the Egyptians. And we had that taken away for a long time where people weren't recognizing the Africanness of the Egyptians and the blackness of the Egyptians. And you got people that's taking on that fight and still pushing forward. Now that people are recognizing it, you know what I mean? But it's hard for us to have that conversation moving forward. Still in a genetics will bog it down in a cultural aspect. It's kind of hard for me to put this in words, man, because I understand both sides, because genetics don't say nothing about culture. Genetics don't say nothing about identity, but then we presenting it as force as if it does. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of hard to put in words. You know what I mean? So I kind of understand both sides, but some people just think. Go ahead.
My bad. I thought you was done.
No, you can go ahead. No,
So
I'm really having a hard time. I'm really having a hard time expressing it. So you can
verbalizing
just
it.
go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
I get 100% what you're saying, right? You're just acknowledging that a person doesn't have to have 90% sub-Saharan African DNA for them to be considered an indigenous African. You're just acknowledging that, and you would be absolutely correct, right? That's what you're saying, right?
I mean, in some context, right? Because indigenous in different contexts means different things, right? Because indigenous can mean before the colonizers, you know what I mean? That's one aspect of it. And indigenous can also be like originally from the continent, and then indigenous can also be disrespectful to some people, because some people don't want to have their identity associated with being before a colonizer, like, right? You know what I mean? There is no consensus on indigenous, right? It's a murky word. It's one of those words that's kind of, I hate to say it, but pseudo. You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean. It can mean a bunch of different things. I think in this particular conversation, where they make it cut and dry, is that they say that all the mixing that would have took place on the African continent. So when you go beyond that to start looking at the percentages to try to determine who is who, when you're already talking about a population that's, going to be mixed just because of its vicinity to other areas, then you have to throw that percentage, at least not put so much emphasis on that percentage, and expect for there to be a lot of mixture in this particular area, right? So and let me add another layer that you might not be as clear on, right? So in the 50s and 60s, the reason why the elders were so adamant about the Africanness of ancient Egypt was because they were fighting Eurocentrism, and the Eurocentric argument was that Africans had no contribution to human civilization, right? Now, when you fast forward a little bit and you get into like the 70s and the 80s, that's when you start hearing people make the comment about the blackness of the ancient Egyptians, right? So they kind of like did a little bit of a switch there. It wasn't originally about how black the people are. They really just needed them. The fight that they wanted to fight was, no, Africans did contribute to human civilization, and they did it right here in ancient Egypt, built a great civilization on African soil, right? And then when you get murky is when you try to go past that victory, right? They actually won that. They won the fight with Africans contributed to human civilization. And then when you go beyond trying to make them African, then you got to make them black. And that's when we get tied down in the genetics and the percentages. They African. When you get done talking the percentages, they African.
So I agree with you. And terms is an issue, right? And I always say keep things in context. So looking at it from 2024, and then you say back in the 70s, they interjected the term black and was trying to use that as synonymous. It was synonymous at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to give them some grace in 2024. You feel me? So I don't be as critical as you guys like to be, or I'll say you, since you're speaking. I just give them a little bit of grace because at that time it wasn't definitive, right? Like black at that time was synonymous with African and Negro at that time. So if you keep it in context, it's okay. Now when we move it forward, now we like to keep that synonymousness, if that's a word, with black and African, also ancient Egyptian. And we would like to relate to that. Some of us do. I'm one of those people who do. But the people who don't, that's fine too, because, self-determination is a thing, and it doesn't have to be biological. It doesn't have to be direct. You know what I mean? And I made this point with you guys before that, like everybody that claimed to be a Jew is not Jewish biologically. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that claim a lot of things today are not that biologically, and that's okay. So I just wish that we would stop being so critical and trying to overanalyze and just realize that, self-determination is a right. You know what I mean? It's not no right or wrong on that. Now, if you try to claim stuff biologically and direct, that's a different kind of conversation. But in a general sense, it's nothing wrong with that.
Right. I
Can I say
think
something, bro?
I asked you about China the other day, so you would imagine it wouldn't be nothing wrong with you know, some guy in South Central LA to be practicing, you know, revering Chinese people and seeing his greatness, you know, within the Chinese culture, you know, because of course it's, you know, every man has his own path, right? What was the words you used? Self-determination.
Yeah.
Right.
Um.
I don't know how productive that would be, you know what I mean, to be revering, you know, some culture, you know. I mean, I guess it's cool if you're gonna go to school and study some, you know, if you're gonna go to school and study Chinese history, you know, I guess that would be cool, and maybe you could probably even find some type of living off of it.
Corey,
yes, sir.
is Egypt in Africa?
Africa is a continent. Egypt is part of a region.
Egypt is in Africa, bro. That's what I'm trying to say.
Africa is a continent. Egypt is part of a region.
Africa's a part of Africa. Egypt's a part of Africa. This way you're being disingenuous.
Yes, I said that. Egypt is in
So
Africa, but Africa is a continent, and Egypt sits in a region within that continent.
Okay.
So why are you making it seem like Egypt is even though it's a country, but it's a anyway. So Egypt is in Africa, right? So
which is a continent.
I don't know why you're making that point. Why are you making that
point? Because China and Pakistan are in Asia. But what do they have to do with one another? Go ahead, tell me.
I got you, good guy.
No, that good guy.
Let me.
China, hold on. Let that good guy, because he asked the question. China is in Asia, and Pakistan is in Asia. What do they have to do with one another? Go ahead.
He
that good guy. That good guy.
Hold on. I got this, dude. There are two Asian countries, but
Asia. Well, I said that in the first place. China.
I don't know what's your
Pakistan.
point.
They're on the continent of Asia. What do they have to do with one another?
I don't know what they got to do with this.
Fine,
that's
point. My point. That's my point exactly. You made my point.
Corey,
you made it. But go ahead. Y'all.
Can I say something?
Africa is Africa, and Africa is Africa.
What? No, Corey, no.
Is that what you're gonna say?
Egypt is a country within a continent.
Say something?
Egypt is a country. Egypt is a country within a continent. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, let me just say something, bro. Egypt isn't within African continent.
I said that and within my
You're not letting me finish. Can I finish?
Go ahead, though.
And I would like to speak after you, if you don't mind.
No problem, bro. Let me just finish. That's all I'm saying. But Africa is not a country, so therefore the Egyptian population, like you're trying to imply, would be different from other populations within Africa. I do say that the North Africans are African. They don't have to look like other Africans to be considered African. However, in South Africa, you do have invaders from India and Europe. They are not the same. You can see when they came into the land and the fact that they displaced people who are in there and they're still dominating them today. Egypt, North Africa is not the same. Those people have been there for a very long time. They're part of Africa. They're the civilizations that built that region.
Yeah, but
Africa's
most of their
diverse.
DNA is West Asian, though.
Hold on, good guy.
No. This is my conversation, dude. I got.
No, they share genetic. They share genetics with West Asia.
Let me just say one sentence.
They have a unique combination of Egyptians are unique within that West Asian, Levantine, northeastern African region there.
I started my question is Egypt and Africa. Now we talking about West Asians. I really don't know why.
Your question been answered like 17 times by now. Though.
Can I just finish with one sentence? I want to mute my mic.
Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
Okay. Egypt is in Northeast Africa. When you look at Northeast Africa and East Africa, which I am from, they have a different degree of intermixing with West Asia. Egypt is very, very close and pretty much attached to the Levant area. So therefore, their intermixing is going to be higher. Mine is about 40% ancient-wise, like 23,000 years ago. Theirs goes from 30,000 to modern day. So obviously, they are going to have a higher West Asian genetics than someone in, let's say, East Africa, way higher West Asian genetic combination than anyone from Central and West Africa. So therefore, Central and West Africa can't tell Northeast Africa who is an African.
My man Psycho, what's up, brother?
Let me answer your question directly, though,
ahead,
Corey,
man.
because you asked me, man. So
Hey,
this
you
was
let Psycho go ahead after you ask that question, brother. Go
all
ahead.
right.
What my question is.
But he
We heard
did
you.
ask.
That good guy's due diligence turn. Go ahead, due diligence.
So your initial question was, again, what you asked me before. You said, would I have an issue with somebody from LA that show reverence to an Asian culture or Chinese culture?
Mhm.
I wouldn't, but this is why your analogy is bad, right? And this is what people are trying to explain to you, but I feel like they are explaining it bad. The reason why the analogy is bad, because us as Americans, me and Good Guy, and even you and some of the other guys, is because we are of the diaspora, right? People that was taken from Africa, brought to the America, and don't know.
We were taken from the west.
You got to let me finish,
the
Corey.
west coast of Africa, because you
gotta
said we
let
were
me
taken
finish.
from Africa, and that was not true. But go ahead.
That's fine. That's fine. So regardless of region, we're still talking about Africa. And that's why Good Guy asked you, is Egypt in Africa? That was his point. So in order to read, you got to let me finish, bro.
Okay,
Just
my
let me
bad.
land.
I apologize.
Regardless if you like my answer or not, you can rebuttal after I go. Just let me make the point.
You're absolutely right. Go ahead.
So it is a bad analogy because Egypt is in Africa, and we're talking about, according to your analogy, an African American in Africa that was taken from Africa and want to revere an African religion or culture, I should say. So to then interject Asia that's don't have nothing to do with nothing is a bad equivalent. That's the point.
No. I just wanted the reason why I brought up Asia, because there were two countries within that continent that had zero to do with each other. Just like how us niggas from the Bight of Benin and the Bight of Biafra have zero to do with Levantine Mediterranean niggas. That's my point. But Psycho, peace to you, brother. What's on your mind, man?
What's going on, Corey? How are you? Yeah, I agree with what you just said. Russia and Japan is both in Asia, but they are not. They have no connection with each other culturally, right? Or phenotypically, right? Like at least the west side of Asia, I should say, west side of Russia over there, close to the Ukraine and all that, right? So like these are. This is why I don't like playing around with the word African. This is why a lot of the Egypt people they always say African. It's a way to include North Africans within the diaspora. That's why they play the little word semantic game. They want to say African instead of black, right? Because if you say black, you're being very specific on who it is we're talking about. We're talking about people from sub-Saharan Africa, right? This is why they have issues. They love the word African. They hate the word sub-Saharan, right? It's reasons behind this. Is because again they trying to be very inclusive. They want to include these North Africans within the diaspora to try to prove they religion, because that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a cult. We're dealing with Egypt. We're dealing with a cult. It's no other way around it. These people are very religious about this stuff. They very adamant about this stuff. They play mental gymnastics, everything else, word games, everything just to try to keep their doctrine going about these these other people's culture really being ours. And it's kind of embarrassing to hear, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I gotta keep it real up on it. It's a little bit embarrassing to hear Black people being culture vultures, being the Elvis Presleys of scholarship, being the Nems of scholarship. It's a little bit embarrassing. Like we got plenty of stuff to be proud of, and we'll smooth over West Africa, Central Africa, everything else, and skip right over to Egypt and stay there and get stuck there. Don't want to talk about nothing else. And when they talk about African, they only talking about North Africa. They can care less about South Africa, any of that stuff. Like I never hear it. I never hear it. It's always unks. It's always pyramids. It's always
They got us looking like Elizabeth Warren out here, man.
Yeah.
Trying to make me laugh.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. It is kind of embarrassing.
So Logic, you know you lost the other day, so you come up on here to try to prove your point. Come on, bro.
You ain't addressed nothing. What's the name just said?
What's there to address? Y'all don't know what y'all talking about, Corey.
No. What Cycle just said. Don't beat me up now. Come on, man. I've been the punching bag.
Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. What's there to address?
That's just your answer. We don't know what we talking about.
He just ramble about some stuff that. All right. Once again, right? Are we trying to say that Black people can't say that Egypt is in Africa, and with
it's
that
in
being
Africa.
Said,
it's in Africa, yo.
With that being saying that people from South Africa went to North Africa and did what they did, and that's facts. And we have
that's why I don't think.
And we have information to back it up. And then y'all get mad.
We dealing with real like saying, because like what you just said, and then his response, right? Mm-hmm. Like in real life, I don't know, like. The teacher would send a note down to the counselor and be like, "Yo, we need to holler at his parents. We need his parents in the office.
He need to get tested."
So y'all saying people from South ain't going to the North?
Turn your camera on, bro.
What do you mean? For what? You know who I am.
Something ain't right.
You know who this is. We did this last time when we beat up Ngozi.
Trying to make sure you ain't cross-eyed. That's what it is. That's what I'm.
Logic. You didn't understand the information you was reading the other day, right? You didn't understand the 80-20.
No, so
you don't understand.
No, don't run down there with them.
My bad. I'm not following.
Yeah. All right. So look. So that good guy. You understand that we're saying that yes, Egypt is in Africa. Yo, I don't want y'all to have to question whether we understand third grade geography anymore.
I don't think y'all do, because if you're saying that Black people didn't start it, then who else started it then? That's my question.
I'm going to say this again. We agree. We agree that Egypt is in Africa. All right. Now, what you have to come to grips with, right? We didn't came to grips with Egypt being physically in Africa. All right. So don't ask that question again. Now, what we want you to come to grips with is that Africa is a diverse continent with many different ecosystems and phenotypes on that continent. Can you
not when they were building the pyramids?
Not
when the first dynasty started. You have to show when the first the fifth dynasty that they were who you claim they are, West Asians.
So nobody claimed that they were West Asian.
So if they're not, who are they? Hold on. Let's do the Dr.
No,
Clark thing.
bro. Listen to me. Just I followed you. It's in Africa. Hold on now. Can you repeat after me that Chef and them agrees that Egypt is in Africa? Because I don't want to have to run back down this road again.
What we have to do with the time period? Who
All
else
right,
is
we're gonna get to the time period, but let's establish. Hold on. Let's establish that we're not gonna run back down the road to your trope of claiming that we don't accept that Egypt is in Africa. Can we move past that part?
Yeah.
I don't know, but go ahead.
I said I'm done now.
Nah, I heard you. I heard you.
Y'all want
He
to
don't
make it
give you
seem
an
like
inch,
West
Steph.
Asians
And y'all
started.
thought I was being rude.
Y'all want to make it seem like West Asians started the first
See,
dynasty.
he's
I don't
stuck
understand how you
somewhere,
going
y'all.
to get who's stuck?
Let me ask one question.
You won't let us. You won't move past the fact. See, because y'all got little talking points, right? Y'all arguments don't have no stand power, right? Without claiming that somebody is saying that Egypt is not in Africa or the Egyptians are not African. Y'all argument, y'all still arguing against Breasted and them and the people that Diop and them was trying to address in 1900. Something that was written in 19. Y'all still trying to argue those points.
I'm arguing people who's reading Mary Lefkowitz in 2024.
All right, fine. Now, I
That's
said
that's one of my heroes.
Yeah,
now.
I'm arguing people who not up to date with the information. They still.
Who want to step up and challenge Mary? Which one of y'all want to step up and challenge Mary?
Are you serious? Is this your king?
I put Mary Lefkowitz up against any conscious nigga in human history. You can go dig a nigga up out the grave. He won't be able to hold a candle to Mary Lefkowitz. But
Barney
go ahead, y'all keep going.
Barney will take her.
Who?
So can we go point for point on that? So let's do point for point on that, because I'm curious for you to stand on that, Corey. So let's go point for point. Like name like five points that Mary made that that she trumped.
One right now. I got one right now. When she talked about how those Afrocentric teachers was telling them kids not to listen to white people.
Nothing you can say that.
I didn't even hear what he said. What'd he say?
She told them college kids whose parents paid $40,000. Now this back in the 80s, when $40,000 was quite a pretty penny. Well, goddamn it, right? Still is today, matter of fact. But in the 80s, shit. But she's saying that those Afrocentric professors who was teaching Africana studies and all this wild shit they doing, they was telling their students not to listen to white professors.
Okay, so this is what my response to that is. Can we talk about
wild to you though? In a
no?
Now you in a college university here.
May I respond to you?
Teaching an elective, teaching an elective, right? Not even something that's gonna get you a goddamn job. You teaching an elective, right? Telling the students not to listen to the white professors after they mamas and daddies done work three jobs delivering pizzas, working at the trailer factory, and cleaning toilets. And now you got a nigga telling them not to listen to the college professors. And now you as a nigga who didn't even go to college, finna tell me, you finna justify that to me. You finna tell me how that, it wasn't nothing wrong with them telling them students that. But go ahead, bro. I'm all ears.
Okay, so let me say this. That was hilarious, Corey. But the question that I want to pose to you, I'm talking about from a historical standpoint of what an Afrocentric like Clark said or like Ben said versus what she said from a historical standpoint, point for point. Not no sidebar. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me finish.
He wrote a book called
Here you go, Corey.
Is that
Let me. Okay, you got it. Y'all see that? That's your champion right there. I thought we was talking about historical points. You haven't brought up nothing. That was bogus. You just bringing up jokes.
Did he not write that book? Is that not part of his history?
It says it right.
We talking about a historical fact that they had contention about. Corey.
Dr. Ben
That's
taught
crazy.
Dr. Ben taught that Aristotle visit the Library of Alexandria. During the question and answer session following the lecture, Lekowitz asked Dr. Ben, how could that be possible when the library was not built until after his death? How about that one?
Okay, I'll concede to that. That's one. Can we? Okay, what's another one?
Okay, now what did Dr. Ben say about her that was wrong? Now that's one. Now it's your turn, your shot.
Did you hear what I said?
What did Dr. Ben say that she teaches that was wrong? That was proven to be wrong historically.
So my question was to Corey, since that's his hero, can I
know like the data points with the data points he got wrong? That she pointed out.
Yes, I'm just curious. Just historical facts that were wrong, what she proved wrong, and he said, well, she proved right, and he said wrong. That's all I'm asking. And if you don't have it off the top, that's okay. But I'm just wondering. I'm really curious. I don't know, Corey. So, but for you to be parading this woman around,
I don't be wrong in order for y'all to say he's full of crap. That's all I want to know. Like how many times does he have to be debunked for people to finally just say Dr. Ben was full of crap? And he wasn't even truthful about his own history. He wasn't even truthful about his own history. How are y'all going to sit up here? His own history. He lied about his own history, not other people's history.
Goodness.
His own history. He couldn't even get his own history right. So how if you can't listen to if a person can't even get their own history right, how are y'all going to sit here and use him as the authority on anything? He's freestyling. He's freestyling. Like we'll prove him. He said this wrong. Oh well, yeah, he got that wrong. But what's the but? What's the but? It's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, line it up. It's a whole bunch of stuff he said that's wrong. He's pseudo. He's pseudo. When are y'all just going to give up on Dr. Ben? Dr. Ben was pseudo as hell. We got to stop this. This personality worship is crazy. And like no matter how many times he gets debunked, y'all just going to say, oh well, that's the white man, or well, that's just that point. Or what about this one? And what about that one? Come on, man, we got to stop this nonsense.
We don't worship people like y'all. When some guys worship Darwin. We could say somebody
this is pointless. Wrong. He didn't went to something else. I'm telling you.
I said we could say that he got something wrong. He got something wrong. We don't disagree.
No, he's pseudo.
Pseudo meaning that that's like I said, he got certain things right. When he says stuff about the Egyptian with the calendar, 365-day calendar.
That's common knowledge, yo. Like, come on, bro.
Get out of here with that. Yeah. Common knowledge. Like you just get up every day, wake up, oh, the sun is shining type of knowledge.
A flat earther could tell me exactly how long how round the earth is by circumference. They could tell me that and it'll be right. Does that mean the earth's flat? Like people can say things that's right, but it's also got some truth centered around it with a whole bunch of BS piled on top of it. That's how all pseudos work.
Right.
Are you serious? That was your answer?
No, I'm very serious. Yes, I'm very serious.
Nobody is saying that every word that came out of Dr. Ben's mouth was wrong. Nobody's saying that, but that's how you build the pseudo career, right? You build it around truth and falsehood strangely mixed, right? You put a whole bunch of Polite, for example, right? Polite can say Dr. Umar Johnson. They say a lot of good things.
Nah, you can't do that, bro.
Yeah, Dr. Umar.
This guy worked at a university. What are you doing right now?
Man, he worked at a university in a goddamn.
When did Umar work at a university?
Oh, so he wasn't pseudo then.
You can't equate the two together though. How are we doing this? You're not gonna do this. I'm not gonna lie.
Why am I doing this?
You're not doing that. We're not doing this.
I just saying anything, but I ain't saying nothing.
Y'all sound pseudo right now. What are y'all doing right now? Y'all just making stuff up. He could be wrong. Yes, he could be wrong about things.
He could
But
be
to
wrong,
put
but
him
we
in the
making
light,
things up.
to
How we
put
making
him in
things
the
up when
light
you
of
just admitted
Dr.
he was wrong?
Umar is real wrong and disrespectful. You have to stop.
He get a
I know.
pass, yo.
Debunking all these scholars
Not
is
as a
disrespectful.
pass.
That's how this
You
community is.
and
If you
me
debunk the scholars, you're
getting
disrespectful.
wrong.
It's
What are you
disrespectful to
talking
debunk
about?
scholars in this community. Got it.
When did I use those words?
You just said disrespectful. You just used the word disrespectful.
I said put him in the same context as Dr. Umar is disrespectful.
Why?
This man played up.
Why is that?
Did he ever teach that?
I would argue Umar's less pseudo than Dr. Ben.
Yeah.
I would argue Umar is less
Umar
pseudo
got
than
real
Dr. Ben.
degrees. Or Umar went to real
Dr.
colleges.
Umar is less pseudo than Dr. Ben. I would say that. Yes.
Did Dr. Umar work at a university?
Umar be saying some pseudo stuff too.
That's what I'm trying to say. What are y'all saying? Y'all just making stuff up. You're trying to boost your channel up. Cut it out.
Then you shouldn't come over here then.
Nah, it's not coming over here. Y'all gonna disrespect black men just because y'all want to sound
See,
good.
here we go. See, disrespect. That's what I mean. You debunk them.
You put him in the same context of a thief like Dr. Umar.
How is that disrespectful? How is that disrespectful when they do the same thing?
I just told you how. The brother worked at a university. When did Dr. Umar ever work at a university? Stop with the BS.
What difference do it make?
What difference do I'm dealing with facts.
Man, Sertima worked at a university. He not pseudo. Man, Sertima not pseudo either. He worked at a university.
No, he not.
When you work at a university, it's not credible now?
Nah, he not.
Oh, he's pseudo.
Nah, he not.
Oh, yes, he is. You believe Africans got here before Columbus too? You believe that too?
Chef, let's get this loud and clear, Chef. If you work at a university, it's not credible.
I don't listen. If we find out,
if we
hold on.
They're heroes. They gotta get a pass.
Yeah, if we find out that the only reason you worked at the university is because you lied about your credentials and your resume, and then we find out you never went to school at all, right? Then we have to, and then we find out that half the information that you kicked was fucking pseudo. Then yeah, you go in the trash.
All right, who is saying that
trash?
He lied? Who is saying that he lied to get in? Where's
Harvard,
they saying?
I mean, Cambridge University. Listen, I'm gonna say this again. Cambridge University. They said not only did he not have advanced degrees from their college, but they have no records of him ever attending any class there.
I'm talking about classes that he taught at. I'm not talking about.
I see.
You're saying that hold on.
You get it wrong.
Yeah, like so you're not even going to address what I just said.
Well, you're trying to say, listen, I don't know what the Cambridge say out of your mouth. I have to research it. You could be 120% right, but you're saying that he lied he used that to get a job.
Yes,
and that's how he got a job.
Yes.
Hold on, and you're gonna tell me that they say that now, but they didn't say that then to get him disbarred and kicked out of college.
He did lose a job. He did lose a job at one of the schools because of
that information.
Yeah, because of his credentials.
Then if I look that up and that's to be
it's true. It's true, good guy. It's true, good guy. It's true.
He's wrong for doing that. Then the fuck he's wrong for doing what he did, but he still taught at colleges. I'm not understanding your point.
So if I teach at college because I lied on my resume,
I lied on my resume. Nobody lied on your. Right,
you feel me? You feel me? You feel me? That's not uncommon. That's really not uncommon.
I've never lied. I never lied.
He gonna get a pass either way.
So you tell the white people every goddamn thing.
Yeah, bro. I don't got nothing to hide. Listen.
Hey, Chef is a barber though.
Find out
what
you
that
lied
mean?
on your resume, that's grounds for termination.
No, I'm not
So
just.
why would you
listen? I'm not just a barber. I'm also an educator. So I had to put my credentials forward in order to get a job as an educator. I didn't lie. Listen, I didn't lie on my resume. I didn't tell the Board of Higher Education, right? Because we get financial aid that I had instructor credentials and didn't have them. right? I actually went to school and got my instructor credentials. So now I can actually teach the shit.
And don't y'all read the fine print? When you lie on your resume, that's grounds for termination, bro.
I agree 100% with that one.
I mean, that's just not, that ain't even me. That ain't even nobody's opinion right there.
I know
Lying on your resume is
right.
grounds for
So
termination.
they just going around acting like it's cool for black men to just be lying on resumes, like just because Dr. Ben did it, it should be cool for everybody.
What
if your kids did it?
Y'all don't do no research.
Bro, so you will pay $60,000 for your child to go to school to get taught by a guy that lied on his who don't have no degrees in said subject. You will be fine kicking out that $60,000 just because you like the rhetoric that this nigga is kicking.
It's feel good. Yeah, it's feel good.
All people besides y'all good niggas don't lie on their resume.
Yes.
Right.
All black people are not criminals. All black people don't have to lie on their goddamn resumes. Some black people got the credentials, right, that they said they got. They went through the necessary
Most of them
schooling,
do.
and they don't have to fucking lie, bro. Is that
especially if
hard
you're a
for
black
you to
man in America? You know you better have more credentials than the rest of them white folks got.
And yet, I still put respect on some black people that don't have a doctorate but can still teach on a doctorate level. People like Dr. Clark, you know what I mean, like Professor Smalls. We do have people that have not been through the curriculum and got a PhD and can still teach on a level, and I will still respect them and put money in their pocket. So you know, so I'm just saying, you don't have to be qualified by a university in order to still have credence. Just because y'all put credence on certificates and degrees, that's fine and dandy. But some people don't.
So you had no qualifications for teachers.
We put the credence on the due diligence.
You had no qualifications
for teachers. Anybody can teach. Due diligence. Come
so
on,
let
man.
me ask you this. So here's the question. They heard him teach and then hired him. Found out that he didn't have the credentials and then terminated him. So he was capable of doing the job, but because he didn't have the credentials, they fired him. So he could do the job in practice, but he didn't have the certifications. I don't care about certifications. You do.
I agree. Due diligence. What kind of car you drive?
A F-150.
A F-150. That's a Ford, right?
What about it, brother?
All right, so you drive a F-150. Do you want somebody? That's an expensive truck too. You get money. So would you let any mechanic work on your F-150?
So can I skip to the point? No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
Exactly. You would want somebody
they don't understand the context of the conversation.
God damn. So wouldn't you want somebody certified to work on your F-150?
I sure would.
Exactamundo.
So can I? Do you mind me responding to that though?
Because there's a lot of niggas in the alley who got a ratchet set that could work on that motherfucker. You do know that, right?
Right. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But to your point, I don't go to the mechanic because I got an uncle that has 40 years experience. That's a shade tree mechanic that can put people with credentials to shame. I go to my uncle whose house I just left, who works on my truck all the time and ain't got no certificate, who's 70 years old and can fix anything under the sun. What are you talking about? What about that part?
You say that.
What about that part, Chef? What about that part, Chef?
He took the boat
What about that part, Chef?
The boat off with the metal.
What about that part, Chef? You wouldn't do that?
No, I wouldn't do that.
What about that part? Oh, you wouldn't do that. But I'm saying I do that. You feel me? And can fix anything under the sun. Without no credentials. So what does it mean? If you can do the work, you can do the work without the credentials. Some people got PhD status without stepping in no universities. Straight up.
You didn't hear what he said though.
I heard everything that he said. I let him
on
talk.
that cover, on that alternator cover. So if your uncle changed that motherfucker, he got to break that sticker, and he don't got another sticker to replace that motherfucker. So now when it's time for when it's time for you to resell, time for you to resell that truck, you don't get your value for it. Because it don't have a warranty on it no more.
Nobody is talking about all that. We talking about as a person qualified to do the work with or without a degree. The question is a person that's qualified, is a person qualified only because he has a degree? That's the point. Not all that rhetoric you talking about. Corey, you the king of bad analogies, brother.
Corey, can I please speak to him? Due diligence.
What up?
It's not gonna help. Go ahead.
He came in with respect speaking to me, so I just want to do the same thing back to him, bro. Due diligence. I understand where you're coming from when you say the whole mechanic analogy. That's just one view. But when we were talking about, let's say, people groupings at some point, what an individual cannot overturn when it comes to linguistics, archaeology, and genetics. So therefore, when we're speaking about certain people, it's not the same as somebody who learns how to fix a car and then is able to fix your car for you and change a tire. That person is not going to be equivalent to being able to overthrow all of academia. So when you go to school, you learn the material, and at the same time, you learn how to avoid your own personal biases when you're doing the research. And you're not going to be able to overthrow linguistics, genetics, and archaeology, which is totally different fields that need a high degree of education. So some of the people you're speaking about, they don't have that level of education, and they're trying to overthrow the consensus.
So let me respond.
Let me say something.
I would agree with what you said, but then whenever I asked him specifically, give me some historical points to where they was wrong so I can assess it, he got ghost. So I agree with you.
I was trying to tell you.
Did you answer? You didn't though. You did not answer though, Corey.
I was trying to.
But you didn't.
Because it's a lot of people on the panel trying to speak, bro. You know what I mean?
All right. Okay.
But
I'll still give you the chance.
One of the things he talked about was how the Greek cities was founded by these African immigrants, these Egyptian immigrants and shit like that. Yeah, she debunked that.
I mean, I can't speak to that because I don't know. But I will give you that. But he don't have nothing to stand on. You know what I'm saying? I could follow him more, but whenever I tell him to expound on the specific historical aspect, he be drowning and give like little minors. But here's what I want to say to you, Isonic. But can I respond back to Isonic though? So let me say this, Isonic. I don't be super critical because you're talking about somebody trying to turn over the whole field. They were Afrocentric people, so they was just trying to redo history from an African standpoint. It's not overthrow it, but put the African spin on it, put the Africanness back into it. And you have to admit that there was a Eurocentric view that was also flawed. So when a black person come back and they come from an Afrocentric view, but they also have some flaws, we can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater because he was right about a lot too. I critique him on his stuff that was wrong also, but I don't sit up here and be like he was pseudo and act like he didn't have no contribution because he was one of the best at his time. Yeah, we can see it right here in 2024 and act like we know something and look like these niggas acting like they doing something because they got Google, but this nigga really went to universities and went and really got the knowledge and had to do it the hard way. You feel me? And he did make a few mistakes, but I was still giving him a high 80 plus, which nobody on the panel can do right now. Can get an 80 in scholarship. You feel me? So they ain't talking about nothing. Yeah, he was wrong about a few things, but he's still the cream of the crop.
Ideology. If it's all ideology, if this whole ideology is centered around, if this whole ideology is centered around the 20% he got wrong, then yeah, why are we listening to this? Like that's the part we got issues with, the part he got wrong, and that's what his whole ideology is centered around. The parts he got wrong.
And furthermore, why wouldn't you? It would sound funny for somebody to say, well, the Eurocentrics got something wrong, so you wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like that would sound pretty wild, wouldn't it? Due diligence.
No, you just take out the bad stuff, silly.
All right, so
people get stuff wrong, bro. You act like people don't get stuff wrong. Have you ever been wrong, Corey? Corey, have you ever been wrong?
So once we take out
Corey, have you ever been wrong?
Absolutely.
Okay, chill out then, bro.
Once you take out all the stuff that he got wrong and his ideology falls apart and Black Egypt ain't looking so black no more, then what we do? We supposed to just fill in the blanks and make it black again because like his ideology falls apart once we start taking out the things he got wrong.
Yeah, once they find out Jesus
not
didn't
proved
die
that.
for
If you stand on that, stand on it.
Can I respond?
Once they find out Jesus didn't die for their sins, right? What is Christianity anymore after that?
Yo, don't bring Jesus into this. Leave the brother alone. Due diligence.
What's happening?
Bro, you remember what I started with, right? The fact that I said I disagree with blackology.
I'm trying to respond to you, but I can't. Whenever when I want to respond to you directly, you know, you got the ad libs. You feel me? So I would like to converse with you.
I got you, bro. I'm not trying to disagree with you. All I'm trying to say is, when I first started, I did say that I disagree with the blackology, like the whole Egypt was black. But I also disagree with the fact that people say that Egyptians were, let's say, the invaders from the Levant area. So
Sonic. Before you move forward, let's talk about your premise. Let's talk about your foundation, right?
Who said they was invaders?
You said you disagree that Egypt was black. Is that what you said?
I do disagree with that, bro.
So in what aspect, though? What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that?
Yes.
If you look at the context historically, the groups that were called black, no matter where they're from, like let's say the Ethiops or then whatever the N-word, they were usually
whatever the N-word. What does that mean?
Okay, how about this?
Man,
I'm not
get this nigga off the show. Who is this?
I'm not. Okay, check this out. Who's this? Okay, bro, sit back for a second. Let me explain myself. Okay.
I'm just messing with you, Brody. I'm
not trying to use the N-word because the thing is, I don't have the black experience of, let's say.
No, I'm just joking with you, bro. Move forward. Okay. It was a joke.
So I'm not being disrespectful. That's all.
I know.
That was
I
a
was
tactic,
joking, bro.
Sonic. Don't let him get you off your square. That was a tactic.
No, okay.
Keep going on your square, bro.
But the thing is, the people that were usually used for the black connotation were from, let's say, the south of the Sahara. Okay? So therefore, the North Africans, they were never called that for the most part. So therefore, I can't say they were black. However,
okay, hold on.
Don't stop him.
No. He made his point. So I want to ask a question. Okay, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
However, I do say first, modern Egyptians are they're the closest related to the ancient Kemet people. Their skin tone varies. I believe that because from modern day North Africa, they're close to the Levant, so their skin tone is going to be lighter. As they come down to the south, the skin tone is going to be a little bit darker. If you look at the people they're related to, it's not the Nilotics, it's actually Cushitic people, the people like the Beja people they enslaved. They intermix with those people, so the skin tone is going to vary. However, that group was never called black. The people below them was called black.
All right. So
that was a beat up right there. The beige people that did you pick up the part
can I respond to the dude without you jumping in and act like you got something real to say? You feel me?
No. I'm asking.
Do you mind? Can I respond to him? No. Can I respond to him before you mess it all up? I gotta respond. Do you mind?
You due diligence though, man. Come on, you gotta. I'm your guy, man. Come
You
on.
is my guy, but he said a lot. He said a lot, and you trying to hear you jumping in, trying to mess me up.
No, go ahead. I ain't trying to mess you up. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right. So, Sonic, what if I said this to you though?
Shoot.
So we got to keep it in context, right? So I can only speak for myself.
Yep.
Whenever we say the Egyptians were black, we talking about the ancient Egyptians that founded the initial civilization of Egypt. We're saying that Egypt was founded as a black civilization, and then invaders came. And then also in the context, whenever you look at the language, they call themselves black. Now, are we trying to say that it is exactly the context of today that we call ourselves black? No, but we're saying that it is similar and we can relate to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's in that context. We agree with everything that you just said, but we look at it from a different perspective because, like you said, you don't have the black experience. And then you also neglected to say what they called themselves. Now, I don't know if you're aware of that part, but they did call themselves black. And then you have to take in the context of which the pseudo-scientific racism that was involved in Egyptology at the time that did not want to refer to the Egyptians as African, which is synonymous with the blackness that we know today, because these words were synonymous back in the day. So we just bringing that forward and saying that, okay, the ancient Egyptians is black Africans. What do you say to that, Asani?
Do you actually want to hear what I say to that?
So let's put
Hey, but I sound like you. Hold on, let me get 5 seconds. I sound 5. Then you can cut me. Sheffer, you gotta mute out, man. You gotta mute your mic, man.
Let's get ready to rumble. Sorry.
So let's
but due diligence. You said one thing. You said,
I can't hear you because the background noise is too tough.
Chef, what the hell is you doing, man?
I'm playing. Listen. This what he's saying. Listen to Unc.
So let's for the standpoint of science, right? We'll just take the confusing term out of it because when I say black, I actually mean African, right?
Go ahead.
Nothing.
You're a fool, boy. Hey, but due diligence, right? You said I agree with everything you just said, right? But you didn't hear what he said. This is my point, and that's why I was trying to interrupt before you went, because I knew you didn't hear what he said. Did you hear the part where he said, yeah, because they started mixing with those Bija people that they enslaved? Did you hear that part? You missed that, didn't you?
Can I respond to Corey for that one?
No. I don't feel no type of way about it. Don't
I'm clear this up.
Okay.
Don't get squeamish about that, Isonic. Because that was a very point of clarity.
Let him talk, bro. Whenever somebody gets to respond and you just want to keep going.
No, because he wanna back off of it and clean it.
Let him say what he want to say. Look at you. You want him just to agree with you. You sound squeamish. You saying he sounds squeamish. Let him speak for himself.
Because that was an uncomfortable statement, and now he's uncomfortable. But it was a real statement.
I am comfortable with the facts.
Quit speaking for the man.
I don't need to bend anything. I agree with the North Africans, and I'm not trying to freaking displace them. The thing is, I'm not also just trying to disrespect the people who are actually connected to them. The Beja people are cousins of them. Well, they didn't intermix them through enslavement. They are an offshoot of them. If you look at the genetic phylogenetic tree, the Beja people are like EV22, where the Egyptians are EV12.
Man.
You can say
a lot of shit that you didn't explain at first. That's now it's confused. Now he's confused on what you said.
I'm not confused.
Say what you said again. Say what you said again. Say what you said again. Not what I said, what you said. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
Beja people paternally are an offshoot of them ancient-wise before the whole enslavement thing.
That ain't what
That's why they are genetically closer to them than the Nilotics.
That's
intermix
why
with
I didn't want Corey to jump
non-Logics
in. You
later
should have
on.
just
Psycho.
That's why we're
responded to
looking
what
at
I
it different.
said.
Hey, logic,
Now he
or
done threw you
psycho
all
or
the way
insight.
off.
Did anybody hear what that brother said before?
I
Did
did.
anybody hear the words that brother said, or was I the
Oh
only
yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
So
When I heard what he
now
said,
our Sonic is trying to make the Bija somehow.
Let me talk to the Sheffrin. I just want to get at your insight.
See,
No,
now you giving
no,
them,
no,
you giving
Sheffrin,
them,
no, stop,
no,
stop.
you're giving
Sheffrin,
them
stop.
more
you giving them,
ammunition.
yeah, you giving them
No,
room for
Sheffrin.
sure.
No,
You
let
gotta
me
make it
just speak to
simple.
Sheffrin straight up. Let me
Go
speak
ahead.
to Sheffrin straight
It's
up.
the truth.
Sheffrin, that region has been intermixing for over 30,000 years.
I agree.
Okay? Okay.
I agree.
You do understand. Okay, now you do understand you have the Egyptians who are the ancient Kemites, right? You still with me?
Yeah.
Then you have the Nubians who also have the Nilotics and the Cushitic population, right?
Yep.
You still with me?
Yes.
The Cushitic population, like the Beja, are
Uh-huh.
genetically related to the Egyptians. They're offshoot of them that intermix with Nilotics in that region. Now,
My
do you
point.
see the intermixing that's going on?
But Sonic, you said
They
what
But they're
you
not
said
Egyptians.
because of
they
a
don't
point
want you
of
to give me no
clarity.
credit.
You were
Ah,
making a point.
I'm not
Sonic,
even
listen.
getting into this.
You were attempting
Exactly.
to make
Exactly.
a point
That's
of
why
clarity.
I'm against both sides because you
Let
guys
him
both
make his
do not.
point. They
That's why I'm
mad
against
at
both
you for
sides.
being.
No,
That's
You
crazy.
disrespect the region. You
before
both
the
disrespect
thing
the
he
region.
said before was him attempting to make a point of clarity to you. That's why he said what he said, because he wanted to be clear to you
He was
about
speaking on both
his
sides, Corey.
Guys, can I please say one thing?
He spoke to both sides.
Please, can I please say one thing? Sheffrin.
man.
Sheffrin.
Sheffrin.
No, please, guys, let me just say one thing.
I can't
Please.
even believe
Corey,
you, man.
Corey, let me just say one thing, okay? I want you guys to look at the chat. Shakir is North
I
African.
don't care
Berber.
about the chat. I don't look at the chat.
Shakir is North African Berber. He understands genetics. Look at what he's saying right now. You can say you don't care about chat.
I don't.
He's North African.
Listen.
I'm East African. You're an American. You want to disagree with me? Look at the chat.
Uh-oh. Here he go. He said the N-word again.
Listen, it say the Bija. Listen, it say the Bija people, an ethnic group primarily found in the Sudan, Eritrea, southeastern Egypt, are not directly related to ancient Egyptians, but they do share a long history of interaction with the region. Here are some of the key points regarding the Bija's connections to Egypt. See, this is the problem, right? The problem is when y'all introduce, we know that the Nubians, those Hamitic groups all had interactions with the Egyptians. But when y'all make statements and don't clarify, these Afrocentrics and these Egyptomaniacs, they take a leap where y'all just try to put clarification at. And then it's suspicious, right? That for some reason, all of these books tried to say that the ancient Egyptians was the Ethiopians and all of this. So I'm telling you, Sonic, you're feeding into the nonsense. I'll leave it there.
And not only that, he said at first, Sonic, you said that what Sheffrin just read. You said that at first, and then when I brought out the point that you made, when I brought out the point of clarity,
They mad because you said they related. They don't like
then you
that.
went back and tried to kowtow to. Oh well, you know what?
He just said that they was related. That's it.
Wow,
I'm leaving it alone. I'm gonna go ahead. You talk to him, my son.
Now he don't know what he and then he, you know, like, oh, I didn't do that. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying they was related and this and that and the other. But you brought the point of clarity, and then once I brought it out, then you got uncomfortable, and now you like, I don't know where you at. I wish you would explain what you explained before. That way, I'm not looking crazy. I sign it. At least do me that favor. If you can.
They trying to distract you from answering what I said. I signed it really what's going on right now.
At least do me the favor and repeat what you said. That way I ain't looking crazy.
The issue I have is this: if you guys are always
Look, he ain't even gonna do that. He rather lend credence first to the Afrocentrics
I'll shut up
first.
to you.
That's cold.
Can you respond to what I said, Isonic, please?
Bro, I don't know what to respond to because so much being sent from every corner.
And they did their job. You hear me?
Yeah, I agree with
That
you.
was-
The thing is, all I'm going to say is this: Shakir's in chat. He's North African.
What does that mean?
That's why I said read the chat.
So
At the end of the
hold
day,
on. So the
what that
Bija
means is
people,
this.
right?
When I first came in, I said disagree with both sides, and I gave my reason. If you don't
You
listen
talked
at some
about a
point,
side
I
that
have
was
to
talking
start
about
thinking,
invading from the Levant. Who's talking
you're cutting me
about
off. I can't even
invaders
finish
from the
right now.
Levant? You said I agree. You did say that when you first came in. You said I disagree with both sides, right?
No, he said I agree.
You said I don't agree with either side.
No,
I
he said
disagree with both sides. That's what he said. He disagrees with both sides.
I don't agree with both. I agree with both sides.
And what you hold on,
That's the
brother.
thing.
Hold on, brother, because you ain't gonna never repeat
You
what
don't hear me.
said
I don't know what to say.
anyway.
You come from a subjective view.
No. You came in, you said, I disagree with both sides. And then you went on to describe one side as being Black Egypt side, right? And then you went on to describe another side as being a side that's saying somebody's invading from the Levant, right? So I want to know which side is saying there's invaders from the Levant.
I don't call them
Go ahead.
invaders. They've been there.
Right. Which side is saying there's invaders from the Levant?
Well, what he was saying was that hold on, that the Bija people, right, helped enslave the Nilotic people, right, who the Egypt, because they was the real black people, right? The real black people was those Nilotes, right, and the Egyptians and those Cushitic Bija people. You know, they was the one, they enslaved the Nilotics, right? So it's some old racists.
But they still African though, right? But Chef, they still African, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you get done doing all of that, they still African.
But yeah, they still African.
They still African.
Chef, I never said that.
Oh wow!
All right, everybody be quiet and let him say it again. Go. Because I hear real good.
Bro, what else? You hear real good, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at the region and say there's 1, 2, 3, 1 being at the top, 2 being at the middle, and 3 being at the bottom, okay?
Yes, sir.
What
1
region?
is the Egyptians, 2 is the Beja, the Egyptian and Nilotic mix genetically, ancient-wise, way before slavery. The Egyptians who they used for the Magi Argers are the Beja people.
Mm-hmm.
They are genetically closer to them. They both speak Afro-Asiatic language. The Nilotics speak Nilo-Saharan language. However, the Nilotics and the Beja people are both who be considered Nubians. However, the Beja people also lived in the borders and Egypt region. That's why their genetics is going to be different and related to the Egyptians, have that back migration DNA. That's why that back migration in the Cushitic people all the way to the Horn is up to 40%. That's why all the way to the Horn, they speak Afro-Asiatic language, but you also have Nilo-Saharan in certain regions like Nubia. The thing is, if you don't understand you can hate this word, the nuances of the region, you're gonna look for things that support your own argument, and you're gonna grab that and you're gonna fight for that. That's why when I first came in, I said I disagree with both sides. There's one side that says the invasion race theory that came in from the Levant, and not understand the mixes that ancient
nobody on this panel said that.
Years.
Yeah, I was just about to say
no one ever on this panel ever said that.
I don't want to be disrespectful to you right now, but you have to respect.
Has ever said that,
bro? Who enslaved the Nilotes? the black people? Who did you say enslaved them?
The Nilos, bro. You're not listening to what I'm trying to say.
No, but you said at first. You said somebody enslaved them.
No,
and who?
I never said anything about that. The Egyptians used the Cushitic population as their magi archers. The Nilotics are also in the region. Like, are you looking for like a black and white kind of thing, and you don't understand the fact that depending on where you are, the skin tone changes?
I think he getting. I think I think that you're getting Chef's argument mixed up with somebody else.
No, he not. No, he not. We right where we need to be at. We right where we need to be at, because it's statements like that, right, without taking in context of what due diligence and smashing them is arguing, right? So it's statements like that help. Listen, we got books over here that say the wonderful Cushites of the Duzilla Drundy, and all of them try to say that those East Africans, like in the Horn and Ethiopia and all of them, are the real Egyptians. So it's those populations that are the real Egyptian population, and this is where they come from. And he's giving credence to that, but he acting like he not. So he's basically saying that these people are the relatives of the goddamn Egyptians, right? Because they were in close proximity and they mixed with them. We already know that. You feel me? But we know that they're two separate people. That's the whole point that we're fighting. That the Nubians and the Egyptians are separate people.
If they mix, they had to be separate.
Yeah, exactly. If they're gonna mix, then it was two separate motherfuckers.
So can I speak to that last point? So let me ask you this, Jeffrey. So there is some nuance to that, right?
Yep.
You are correct, right? But we know that the Nubians became the Egyptians, and they,
which isn't one group.
That's why I'm done.
Which isn't just one group.
Okay. Do you mind if I finish though? Corey, please fall back. Now, I just said that I agree, but let me add the nuance. See, this is what you guys don't understand. Can you just be quiet and let me finish, bro? It don't have to be contentious. Like, you can respond after I go. So here is what you're leaving out. It's a continuum, right? So if I am a Nubian, right? And then we move and settle further up and settle and then become Egyptians, and it's still a Nubian population. This is my family. So even though I identify as something as a Nubian and then move up north, and when turn into an Egyptian, settle up north and turn into Egyptians. So by label, we are different, but we are still related. The relatedness, you can't discredit that. So when people say the Nubians are the Egyptians, that's not necessarily wrong, because one came from the other.
Yeah, I'm pretty much
great.
So
we relate to white people.
Where you at, Corey? Where you at, Jeff?
Bro, when a Chinese guy moves
no, we're not talking about that. Just speak to what I said.
I'm speaking to what you just said.
I'm not talking to you, bro. I'm talking to Corey.
I'm talking to you.
Corey, what up? Where you go now?
Are you listening? Or are you gonna keep talking over me?
I'm talking over you. I don't want to hear you.
Yeah, okay, well then I'll just keep talking then. Since that's the case, I'll just keep talking since you're gonna be disrespectful.
All right, Chef, where you go, Chef? What happened?
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna keep talking then, because you ain't gonna keep shutting up. You ain't gonna shut up. I'm gonna keep talking.
I ain't
Now,
got
this
nothing else
idiot
to
over here
say.
just said that if the Nubians moved up to Egypt, then that makes them all related by region. If that's the case, then we all related to these. I'm related to these small hats around here. I'm related to these Puerto Ricans around here. I'm related to these Dominicans around here because they all was raised around here with me, even though we all different races of people. This is a stupid logic, and I don't even understand how you that even flew out your mouth and you thought you was killing stuff. I can't believe you thought that was a cut. What is wrong with you? Region don't make you the same people, and all I'm hearing right now
Did I say that?
is a bunch of people trying to sit up here
Yeah, you
and make
did.
this whole racist
I
and social
said they was
construct argument.
related by
I'm still talking.
region.
I'm still talking. I ain't talking to you. I'm not
This
talking
nigga
to
is
you. I'm not
retarded.
talking to you. Don't talk to me now. Don't talk to me now. When I just
I'm
tried to
not
talk to you
talking
a
to
second ago,
you.
you said you ain't want to talk to me. So shut up. I'm talking. Now, like I said, now I don't understand this whole concept about, oh, race is just a social construct. Race ain't real. These people can be this and this people can
Of
be that.
course, you
I'm
wouldn't.
not talking to you. Why are you still talking? Now,
You
like I
wouldn't.
said, I don't understand. I just gonna keep on talking it.
I
Like I
know.
said, you hella disrespectful. I don't even care nothing about what you're saying coming out your mouth right now. You disrespectful and you disingenuous. Like I said, this whole disingenuous argument about how race is this and race can be that and all this based on region and based on skin tones and all this, it's silly. If that's the case, what are we even arguing about? Why are y'all even in the conversation about Black Egypt if y'all don't even understand what Black is? This is ridiculous. Everybody knows what Black is till it's time to have these type of conversations. Now all of a sudden the water's muddy. Now all of a sudden this can be Black, that can be Black, everything else can be Black. What's up, Saharan? That's why y'all just keep saying African. That's why y'all stuck on the word African. Y'all not saying Black. Y'all running with the term Black. And you said something earlier that was stupid too. And a lie. They did not call themselves Black. I want you to show and prove. They talking about Black. Egypt means Black land. It does not mean Black people. And I want you to source up and show me where Egypt means Black people. Because that's what y'all hang y'all hat on. My bad, not Egypt, Kemet. That's what y'all hang your hat on. That's all cap. So go ahead, man. I'll be quiet now. Stop being disrespectful too.
And to your question, just to answer your question, to what I can say to your question is, when a Chinese guy moves to the United States, it don't make him not Chinese no more.
Okay, so Corey,
don't make them related to me either.
We talking about relatives. I said whenever they move somewhere and settle, we talking about direct
when a
blood
Chinese guy and his
relation.
family move
We not
to the
oh
the
my
United
goodness,
States and settle
Isonic.
Go ahead.
Listen to what I'm saying,
I'm trying
Corey.
to figure out what's the difference.
Due diligence. Hold
So
on.
listen, let me say it one more time, please. So I want you to just walk with me for 10 seconds, bro. So Nubians, right? They move up north and they settle and turn it into
Which group of
Egypt.
Nubians?
I don't
Nubians
know.
all one group of people?
But that does not matter. I just want you to follow me, right?
So a group of Nubians, right?
Correct.
A group that came from the geographical location, because the group wasn't called Nubians, right?
All right. So you don't want to hear. I know you hear me, but you don't want to accept it. That's fine. If you don't want to hear me go,
listen to what I'm saying. I just listened
I
to what you
did.
said.
But I wasn't
you don't want to listen
finished.
to what I'm saying. I just listened to what you said. Now you don't want to listen to what I'm saying, right?
You cut me off.
Now, you tell because I'm trying to get clear before you keep walking. I don't want to.
I
walk
answered
down
your
the street.
question. I said I didn't know, and I was honest with you, Corey.
You didn't know what?
What group of Nubians? I said I didn't know.
Okay, fine. You didn't know, but now let me get clear on the fact that are you trying to tell me that a group from the location called Nubia, right? Because they're not called Nubians.
I agree.
Right? They're from a location, right?
I agree.
Now you're calling them Nubians. Now who the fuck is they? We just know where they from. We don't know who the hell they is.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree. But that is a side point to the main point that I'm making.
It's not a side point because
let me finish. If you let me finish, you will understand. If you let me finish, you'll understand. No, you got to let me finish before you proceed.
No.
All right, I'll let you have it. I know you hear what I'm trying to say, but you just want to argue. But it's fine. Go ahead.
This is what you guys do. You guys try to make Nubians all one group of people, all one group of these black people.
I just agree with you, and I said
So
I didn't
when
know what
they
group. So
talk
you can't
about
put that on me.
when y'all talk about
How can you
Nubians
put that on me
and
when I
their
just agreed with you and I said I didn't
to
know?
Egypt, huh?
How can you put that on me when I agree
No,
with you and
this
I
is
said I didn't know?
because this is what you start to do. This is what you
I
started to
literally said,
do, and
okay, okay,
then
fine.
see, this is why the confusion comes, because this is what y'all do. Y'all sit up and try to make these Nubians, and furthermore, I wouldn't consider Nubians black. Period. The Nubians ain't Nilotic niggas. These is all Afro-Asiatic groups. Different groups of Afro-Asiatics. Them Nilotics, they migrated up there.
Right.
See what I'm
Can I
saying?
respond to Corey for a sec?
Them Nilotics,
Goodness,
their
go ahead,
ancestors,
go ahead. I'm good.
Their ancestors are from South Sudan, Darfur, and all that, from the Great Lakes regions. That's where them Nilotics ancestors come from. Them 7 foot tall niggas. No, they ain't related to them Egyptians. They migrated up there.
Right. You're right,
See what
Corey.
I'm saying? And
Yeah.
moved and settled in Nubia. They wasn't no Nubian per se. They settled up there. See, you niggas try to make it seems like that when you say Nubian, that's them 7 foot tall niggas.
No,
Black ass niggas.
that's not correct, bro.
Delicious.
We know Nubian is a generic term that means Southerner, but I am not
Okay,
qualified to
so that
say
ain't
the
how you was using
specific
it
groups.
in your story that
It
you started out.
absolutely was, because I agree with you when I said I didn't know the specific group, Corey. I agree with you. And you went on a whole tangent for nothing.
No, because I know
I
how y'all
agree
do.
with you when I said I didn't know. You said you niggas do all. You want to make it seem like you. I didn't do none
Because
of
you
that, bro.
started your story out, well, the Nubians moved to Egypt.
It's a
What kind of sense
generic
does that
term.
even
It's
make
for
sense?
generality
Now
purpose
that
because
we
I
came
don't
to
know
that
the specific
clarity,
group.
now that we've got the clarity that I just put down, saying the Nubians moved to Egypt don't even make logical sense right now.
How?
It ain't
Can I say
even a
something,
coherent statement anymore.
How?
So the Nubians moved to the whole what do you mean? The whole fucking population? Or what?
You got it, Corey. You making yourself look
it's no
bad,
longer
bro.
coherent once we come to the understanding of that nuance. See where
Corey,
y'all at with where y'all at with that kind of nuance.
let me say something.
You won't even let me explain, so you got it, bro. You just you bulldogged
Go
me.
ahead,
You got it.
iSonic.
You got it.
He needs he need a life jacket. Go ahead.
Yo,
Give it to me.
save me, please.
I'm not saving anyone. I'm not knowledgeable enough to save anyone. I can only give my input and also learn in this conversation. Corey, when you say Nubians, and you say there's not a lot of people, this is what I'm trying to think. Anything I said tonight, were you even listening?
No.
The Nubians have not a lot of people and Cushitic people. The Cushitic people speak an Afro-Asiatic language. The Cushitic people are a mix of the Nilotic people and the Egyptians. That's why the whole thing is confusing to some people. If you don't understand
you
the
think
region,
I don't think people living in a geographic location called Nubia is having babies together and shit?
That's how you have.
Come on, man!
People.
Like that, like y'all is wild as fuck, bro.
I'm wild as fuck.
But you made a distinction. He's pointing out that you made a distinction between
I'm talking
Nubians
about the fact
and
that
the
y'all talking about a
Cushitic, like it's not the
geographical
same.
location as if it's a group of people. That's
He's not
what
going to
I'm talking
acknowledge.
about.
He's not going to acknowledge it, iSonic.
Corey, do you understand?
I know they had babies, iSonic. I know they had babies with each other. I do.
Know that this is an ancient mix that the Beja
I know
people come
since time immemorial, they've been having babies with each other.
So the thing
I
is,
know that.
So when I say in Egypt, from the north to the south, you have different region skin tone, and then you're in.
I don't give a damn about what color their skin is.
But this thing you guys are stuck on.
I don't
give they weren't black
goddamn
or whatever.
what
I'm not
none of
into that
skin
stuff.
is.
I'm not into that stuff. I'm just trying to.
Good goddamn what color none of their
Black
skin
is more than just a skin tone.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so Isonic,
No, I
so
agree with you. I
Isonic
agree
is
with
making a
you.
distinction between blackness. So you don't so the
He didn't make a distinction. He said he don't care about none of that. He's not making a distinction.
no, hold on. So the Kushitics, right? Since they've been mixing with the Egyptians,
Mixing with them, they split off them. Like, what do you want? Do you think they're mixing with them?
Nah, I don't believe that.
You don't believe that? Go look at the phylogenetic tree. Pull it up right now.
I just read my source. I'm gonna read it again.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! Pull up the phylogenetic tree while you're out on that.
The Bija people. I say Bija related to the Egyptian. It says the Bija people, an ethnic group primarily found in the Sudan, Eritrea, southeastern Egypt, are not directly related to ancient Egyptians, but they do share a long history of interaction with the region. I mean, so for some reason, you trying to include you and your people in with the Egyptians. My source don't say that. I know y'all mixed in the region.
My people have been in their area for about 7,000 to 9,000 years.
Right.
What the hell are you talking about?
Right.
Okay.
So
Right. Now, right. Let me say something else to you.
Say y'all ain't related. Y'all interacted with each other.
No,
y'all had some babies. Y'all had some babies.
Would that not mean related?
Let me respond to this guy. Let me respond to him. Guys, let me respond to Chef.
admitted
We that's relation, Corey. Have babies.
Hold on. I'm African American. I'm African American. I got Western motherfucking
We're not the
European DNA up in me.
Not the
right?
same.
But I wouldn't say I'm related
Not the same.
to the goddamn Europeans because we
Not
got
the
some. We did a
same.
little bit of mixing.
See.
In reality, you are.
Look. Astro's been tattooed now. Yo, check this out, bro. No. Okay, I'm gonna read what Astro said right now. The Cushitic people travel south and mix with more proto-Nilotic and Motor people. My genetic, you're not.
It was already them.
No, we're not.
Why wasn't they already them?
Stefan, you're not listening to me right now.
Chef is crazy.
No, you're coming for my people. Let me respond to you for 1 second.
I'm not coming for your people.
No, pull up the phylogenetic tree, bro.
You're the one who's trying to make yourself Egyptian up this motherfucker.
Right.
When did Egypt start? When did Egypt start, bro? Just think about it.
Look, he ain't deny that.
Now the Ethiopians are the Egyptians.
Oh my God.
Same thing Dr. Ben and them was ripping off.
Oh my
They
God.
from the mountains of the
foot,
the mountains of the moon or the foot
The
hill.
thing is, I'm gonna be quiet because y'all are with the invasion race theory right now, and you're very
Invasion? Somebody invaded. They was there already. How can they invade something? Are the Native Americans invaders of America? Is the indigenous people of this country invaders here? Because that's the same. That's equivalent of what you're saying right now. You're saying that we're saying that the Native Americans are invaders of this country. No, they're not. They migrated here. That's the same thing they did.
Exactly. And because of the fact that I told him that he wasn't Egyptian, he gonna say that now we're saying
You're not listening to me.
This is crazy.
It's wild.
Why would I want to be Egyptian? You don't listen right now.
And the wild thing is that's what
Egyptians speak Egyptian
playing.
language. No, you're not listening. The Egyptians speak an Egyptian language. I speak a
Y'all good.
They're both under the Afro-Asiatic
you
language.
all
trend.
over the place.
You're not listening.
Now you're talking about linguistics.
No, linguistics, genetics, you're not listening to either one of them. So what are you listening to at the end of the day?
I just trying to be right.
Stay in the rails though. Like
all right, so no. I wanna take everything back that I said, right? Because if we follow this logic, right, then the Western Asians that they mix with, will we say that the Egyptians, you know what I mean, are Western Asians? No, we wouldn't. So I mean, Dr. Ben and all of them tried to tell us. So when Smash and all of them is running around talking about the Egyptians are black and they come from the South, you know what I mean? All of this, you feeding right into it.
They don't come from the South. Like you're not listening to what I'm saying at all. You're only listening to things so that you can argue from your subjective point of view. You don't understand the intermixes from the region. You're not listening to linguistics. You're not following the phylogenetic tree. The thing is, Bro, Ngozi have told you this consistently. Gala has told you this consistently. You don't argue with them. But when I bring it up, you have a problem? The Cushitic people are not the Egyptians. They're from East Africa, Northeast Africa.
right,
They're
I
different
agree.
populations. However,
That migration, right? You talking about the back migration,
So
right?
what are we arguing?
We talking about the back migration. Nobody's arguing about the back migration through the Horn of Africa. Is that what you're talking about?
there you go. There's a back migration back to the Horn of Africa.
Right. That's where a lot of the Asian admixture came in, and that's where this is how they took over North Africa. But not take over, but this is how they migrated there.
No, they didn't. They didn't because they didn't because the genes mutated in North Africa. If you have E1B1B EV12, which are the Egyptians, you will have an offshoot which is EV32, which comes to the Horn, which I am. So therefore, paternally, we're offshoot of them very, very long time ago. That doesn't mean we're them.
They migrated from Eurasia towards there, and and they came through the Horn of Africa. And this, like I said, this is why people in East Africa have a certain look, a little bit different than West Africa.
He been saying this the whole time. Y'all been arguing with him.
I understand all that, but again, this is proving that these are different people.
Right.
He said that.
No, he was saying that these people were. He started talking about skin tones and everything else. I don't know. Black is not based only on skin tone. Like it's partially skin tone, but it's not only skin tone. I can show you an albino black person, an albino Asian, and you're going to tell me exactly who made this argument and who the black person is. And
he never said none of that.
I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to the dude. I'm talking to Isonic or whatever.
Isonic, did you say any of that?
I'm not. Why you was lawyer? I didn't know you was his lawyer. Now all of a sudden you want to talk to me. Earlier you didn't want to talk to me. Now all of a sudden you got a mouthpiece.
You mad because you wrong. You just talking.
I can show an albino black person, an albino Asian, and y'all going to know exactly who that Asian is and exactly who that black person is. So obviously black is not dependent on skin color. But y'all keep talking about dark tones, skin, light tones, and everything else. You got dark-skinned white people, dark-skinned Asians, light-skinned Asians, light-skinned white people. Yes, light-skinned and dark-skinned is not exclusive to black people. Shocker, right? Shocker. It's the truth. I proved this many times. So we got to stop with this light and dark and everything else, because that's not exclusive to black people. So it muddies the waters.
I don't even know who said any of that.
Well said.
Yeah, I don't even understand what y'all hung up on at this point, right? It's like you trying to. It's like. It sounds like Isonic is trying to creep, people from the south up to the north, and then when we tell them it's wrong, then we get accused of being the invading race theory. It's kind of crazy, like it kind of sounds crazy.
Yo. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we hear you now, James. But Logic is talking though right now. You can go.
I just wanted to make sure y'all could hear me.
Yeah. Peace to you, James.
Yeah, peace. I mean, I'm done. I'm just confused at where the argument is going, because it kind of stopped making sense a long time ago, and he was just switching from topic to topic, and then it was making even less sense for real. Yeah, y'all go ahead, James. What you got?
I mean, from what I understand, it's just no logic with you. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the other person. I'm kind of tripping on Isonic because it seemed like he might be coming around to the facts, but I don't know if he's willing to agree.
I apologize. I fucked up. What the hell is this?
I don't know. Hold on. I don't know if he understands what he's saying, or if he even understands that comes with a dating period of the back migration that he's talking about. So all of that's fine, and what he's saying is true, but you have to acknowledge that there's a dating for that back migration.
How far back is the back migration?
Now, do you see what I was saying, Isaac, and what
Yes,
Chevron
Corey.
was saying?
I was
Yes,
trying to
Corey.
stop
How
it.
what you
No,
saying
I do see it.
lends credence to for them to run off to the sunset.
Yeah, you
You
give
see
it.
what I'm saying?
You
Corey,
said that like 30 minutes
I
ago.
do what you're. I do see what you're saying. But the
But
thing
it's
is,
true.
it's not my
But
fault if
I mean,
people
if you
acknowledge
if you came around to the truth, there's nothing wrong with that,
No,
Hassan.
You feel me?
I,
They mad
I,
because he spoke the truth.
bro. Oh my God, Corey, I do
That's
see
why
what you're
you.
saying.
That's why you
Look,
should.
he
That's
don't
why
want
you
to be.
should
He
have
don't want.
stepped
He don't
up.
want to tell. Look, they mad because he telling the truth. He
I'm
don't
being
want.
attacked on both sides.
He don't
That's all
want
I
to
gotta
tell
say.
the truth. He don't want to tell the truth if it's
I
agreeing with
Sonic,
me.
you should have
So
stepped
now,
up and
he may
repeated
change.
what
He
you
may
You
said.
change.
give them credence to
If you would have
don't
repeated
speak the
exactly
truth.
what you said, Sonic,
So now he
you
gonna
would
change the
you
truth.
wouldn't be in this position right here. You would be standing firm.
Don't
Because
worry.
then
Hold on. Wait.
after
Hey,
you
Corey.
said that, after you repeated yourself, you could have added that little bit of nuance that you talked about, right? But you should have standed on your point of clarity because the point in you saying what you said was to give due diligence a point of clarity. You backed off. See what I'm
No, that
saying?
wasn't the point. That's what you thought he was gonna do, but he didn't.
He did. He
And he
did
just
it.
spoke the
I
truth.
didn't
No,
think he was gonna do it. He did it. He said it.
Man, but hold on. So
no.
hold on.
You
Hold on.
thought he was
Let me.
gonna go against me, but he just spoke the truth to both sides, is what happened. And you got
Okay.
upset.
So
I
who
I
here
tried
on
to.
the panel? Let me add. Hold up.
I went with the
Who on the
consensus,
panel?
guys.
Who
Like
on the
I don't know
panel
what you guys are
is
trying to
that
say.
denying the back migration of Western Eurasia? Who's on the panel doing that? Nobody. Okay.
Eddie, you're wrong.
Nobody.
Who's wrong?
I'm saying Fetty's wrong because the thing is, I try to share it with the actual consensus. What is the objective facts that is in academia, and each side attacked me at the end of the day. Now, Fetty
You wind
I'm
up
not
down in
attacking you. I'm
you
with you
start
tonight.
you
Hold on,
wind up
Sonic.
down in Ethiopia.
Sonic. I'm with you tonight, baby.
How you wind up way down in Ethiopia though? When you start adding your clarity, you wind it up way down in Ethiopia, and we was talking about Egypt. What's the distance? What's the distance from Cairo? How long it take you to get to Cairo from your house?
You're not understanding the relation. If they related, they related, Corey.
No. All I gotta say is
I said
Ethiopia
they
has
having
its own
babies.
population.
That's the point that he was making.
How many times do I have to say I know they had
You
babies?
keep asking what's the difference,
So
and he
now
was
you
just
a
saying the
Mexican.
relation is the
that
difference.
make you a Mexican as soon as your son get one of the Mexican girls pregnant, right? That make you a Mexican.
You talking about nationality, bro? That has nothing to do with what we talking about.
You talking about genetics?
I mean,
you talking about genetics?
I said you talking about nationality. This nigga say you talking about genetics?
Yeah,
No,
you talking about you not talking about nationality, then you talking about genetics, right?
No, we talking about ethnic groups.
And what makes up an ethnic group?
People of the same population, culture,
don't you know all that overlap?
Relatedness, all that.
Don't you know nationality, ethnicity, and genetics all overlap? That all overlaps.
Who said that it didn't? But we being specific, and we talking about ancient identity, ancient ethnic cultures is what we talking about.
So it's about what they identified as, or is this about what they would be viewed as in modern terms? Because I thought that we was talking about what they'd be viewed as in modern terms, not what they
He's
identified.
saying if one of them move, if some Nubians move,
They didn't identify by race. They identify by their culture, that's their ethnicity, that's their different tribes or whatever. That's how they identify. But now who were these tribes is what we're trying to get to the brass tacks of things. Now, I don't know what's the conversation. I'm a little bit lost.
See, and I know exactly what due diligence is trying to say, right? This what you trying to say, that they actually had some dark-skinned, nappy-head, Afro-Asiatic speaking Egyptians, right? That weren't speaking the Nilo-Saharan language, right? That's what you're trying to say. But some kind of way, like what you saying is just a lot more cloudy and harder to understand. And this, every time we get back into this conversation, we go from Upper Egypt and now we down in Ethiopia looking for these for these, dark skinned Afro-Asiatic language speakers.
It's
You know what I'm
wild
saying?
to me.
They getting closer and closer to Kush now. Like that's.
I never said none of that.
Let me ask
You'll never hear none of that. But Ron, that's
When
back.
they say
None of that
South,
came
you
out of
talking
my
about
mouth.
That's
Kerma?
the clear way to say it, right? And nobody would disagree with that.
I'm saying, what did I say though? I didn't say none of that you said.
I'm trying to get you out, bro. Because what you
That was
saying actually
Sonic that went all over the map. I didn't do that. I talked about the Nubians and the Egyptians. That's
Because
it.
he was trying to give you some credence. He was trying to lend credence.
I was
I'm saying say what I said. I don't need nobody's grace or credence. I say what I said. I don't say none of it.
You need it.
He was working on it. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna end up in Ethiopia for you and make
That's
it cloudy down there, and
That's
then
fine.
you take it from there."
That's fine. That's what you. That's what you wanted to be. I said what I said. I said what I said.
Yeah, see, I was trying to be on your team, bro.
Fucked up his assist for the night, man.
Yeah,
bro.
I didn't want it.
So y'all don't,
Ejected.
so y'all don't understand human
You had him throw the
migration.
ball
like
out of
that,
bounds.
that's
Absolutely
impossible.
not. They don't. That's exactly what it.
And
That's exactly
James,
where we at.
this the part that you always messed up. That the
So y'all
people
think that
in the
so
northern
based on
region
what
they
y'all
got a
saying,
distinct genetic marker, bro. Like they just
based
different from
on
everybody.
what y'all saying, they supposed to be still in the Green Sahara, even though it's a damn desert. They ain't supposed to move and go nowhere.
Robin?
That is.
That's basically what y'all saying. They supposed to stay. They supposed to when the desert, when it turns, they supposed to sit their ass in the desert and stay right there, huh? That's what y'all think supposed to happen.
That is. This our Sonic deal with them.
Yeah, you made this. You definitely
Because they
made
knew not to come up on here talking that craziness when I was holding down the fort. You opened that can of worms. Deal with James.
Chefin.
You can't deal with me.
I can't.
Straight up.
I can
deal with me.
Straight up.
Exactly.
Can I
I'm
go?
gonna let the African deal with you. Get him out, Sonic.
No, the thing
We
is,
are, but see what's crazy is
I'm not
y'all
gonna
over
argue
here
with that one.
tripping. We Africans too, genetically.
They don't correct.
Y'all don't even understand what
Sub-Saharan
we
African.
all Africans on here.
It ain't
Sub-Saharan
polite to
African.
correct the Afrocentric.
They won't accept that, James. They not going to accept it.
I can show you my DNA test. I ain't got near North African up in me. All Sub-Saharan
No, we
African.
ain't talking about no North Africans. What percentage African are you?
80%.
There you go.
So you hold up.
He
So
ain't
80%
broadly.
So 80 what? So 80 what? You don't know the exact
Sub-Saharan
Talking
African.
about broadly.
That's enough. But he said he's not
I'm
African.
asking you a question.
I know the regions I can show you.
Broadly African. I bet you.
Okay,
I bet
okay,
if
but
you
It's
look up your DNA,
mainly the highest percentage I got is not the highest percentage I got is Nigeria.
But no, what
Yeah,
I'm
but
asking
listen,
you for
the
your
nuance.
what I'm
Listen,
asking.
listen
Hold on,
to the
listen.
nuance, though.
What I'm
The
asking you
nuance
what,
is he's asking how much African you got in it, in you, right? So,
I told him 80%.
on your
And none
genetic,
of it
on
from
your
North
genetic
Africa.
I'm
test,
talking about
listen,
80
None of it
what?
from North Africa either.
hold on.
80
On your
what?
genetic test, it's gonna have broadly African. When you look at the broadly African, it's gonna be like 10% or less, right? Because the reason why is like 10% or less when it says broadly African, right? Is because you from a specific spot. You ain't from all over that motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? That's what that. See, this is the points y'all be missing, bro.
That's right.
This is the point. Ain't no y'all. See, when they figured out the genome, it cut out the ambiguity. We don't have to guess where you from, Psycho. We ain't gotta. You ain't gotta be one of them niggas that say.
That's what I'm telling
That's
him. I
crazy.
ain't North African in me. That's what I'm
He
telling
said
him.
it's
Part of
broadly
Africa I'm
where you
so
from,
I just
and then
claim the
said you
whole
don't have to
Africa.
guess.
Hey,
That was crazy, wasn't it, dude? I thought I was over here. I was like, what did he say?
Sonic, hold
Straight
on, brother.
contradiction.
No, that was out of control,
Psycho,
dude.
listen.
We over here having
You
a
don't have to
blast.
be one of those niggas that say, I don't know where I'm from in Africa, so I just claim the whole Africa. If you get a DNA test, brother, you gonna know exactly which part of that motherfucker you from, bro.
That's not true.
You're gonna get it down to at least a region of that motherfucker. You ain't gonna be all over there looking for your cousins and uncles. Believe me, you're gonna get it right down to a specific region, right where you from. And furthermore, you just told me you got like 28% Nigerian. I bet you got like
33.
33. I bet you got about another 17 Sierra Leone.